Chapter 563. Wang Daoyuan arrived at Zhou Luan's residence in the underground branch. She was meditating on her bed, her eyes closed. Intense fire spiritual energy flickered around her. Judging from the intensity of this fire spiritual energy, her cultivation was already very close to the middle stage of core formation. The fire attribute laws contained within her fire spiritual energy were also clearly stronger. It seemed that it wouldn't take long for her to condense spiritual fire. Wang Daoyuan didn't disturb her. He lay on a deck chair in the garden and quietly drank some wine. Half a day later, a fiery red figure appeared in front of him. "You still know how to come back? Why aren't you back if there's nothing important? Are you hiding some beauties in your residence?" Wang Daoyuan sat up and pulled Zhou Luan into his arms. "Aside from the hall master, how could there be any other beauties in this world?" Zhou Luan's expression was smug. "You have good taste. But there's something I need you to take care of. Mou, Jackdaw, and Lu Zong are nearing the end of their lifespans. How do you plan to deal with them? Do you want to control a few more puppets, or should I promote a few more wandering cultivators?" At this moment, Wang Daoyuan placed his hands on her waist and tickled her. Zhou Luan hid his hand and pretended to be angry. "I'm talking business with you." Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, "Aren't I doing something serious right now? I've already made plans for this. It's not reliable to promote more wandering cultivators. I want to arrange for a few Dark Hall disciples to enter Blood Shadow. They've been working in the shadows before, but their methods weren't good enough. It's a good opportunity for them to enter Blood Shadow and learn. What do you think?" Zhou Luan pondered for a moment. "That's fine too. I need to raise my cultivation and condense true fire. You heartless person, you stay outside all day and don't even know how to share my burden. With a few juniors coming over, I won't have to worry about the branch's trifling matters." Wang Daoyuan asked, "I've opened a fire room on Jade Spring Peak. The fire spiritual energy there is comparable to high-grade third-tier spiritual energy. It's more suitable for you to cultivate. Why don't we move there? It saves me the trouble of running around." Zhou Luan was a little tempted. Although a third-level upper-grade fire spiritual vein was not enough, it was still much better than the third-level lower-grade non-elemental spiritual veins in Guiyan City Square. Moreover, the underground lava was not comparable to an ordinary fire spiritual vein. It had an endless supply of fire spiritual energy. In the future, when he condensed spiritual fire and used the fire attribute spiritual fire to burn the lava, the fire spiritual energy would be able to satisfy his needs for cultivation. She asked, "What about here? Shanbei is too chaotic. Someone has to be in charge." Wang Daoyuan laughed. "When I have the chance, I'll control a few more Jindan or Zifu disciples and have them stand guard here." Zhou Luan nodded. "Then wait for me to condense the spiritual fire. Without the help of the spiritual fire, the third-order high-grade fire spiritual vein is not enough for me." Wang Daoyuan stood up and carried Zhou Luan into the boudoir. "Then I'll help you condense the spiritual fire as soon as possible." A year later, both of them were in deep slumber. Suddenly, a burst of violent fire spiritual energy woke Wang Daoyuan up. He felt that Zhou Luan in his arms was burning hot. The spiritual energy fluctuations were rapidly increasing. This was a sign that she was about to break through. Zhou Luan had a special physique and the phoenix bloodline. She could barely be considered a half-demon with phoenix bloodline. It was common for mythological beasts to break through while asleep. She would not delay anything if she continued to sleep. At most, she would take a longer time to break through. Wang Daoyuan converted all the spiritual energy in his body into fire spiritual energy. He slowly spread the fire spiritual energy around Zhou Luan. There was a difference between their fire spiritual energy. If he directly transferred his spiritual energy into Zhou Luan's body, it would hinder her from breaking through. He could only help in this way. In the next few days, the fire spiritual energy fluctuations on her body became stronger and stronger. However, she did not wake up. It seemed that she was going to sleep until the end of her breakthrough. After another month, Zhou Luan no longer absorbed the fire spiritual energy around her. The spiritual energy on her body flickered with a dazzling red light. Not long after, the red light disappeared. Her spiritual energy fluctuations had reached the middle stage of gold core, but she still did not wake up. Suddenly, a flame ignited on her body. This flame was caused by her small magical ability. It would not hurt her body. The flame became stronger and stronger. After half an hour, the flame turned into a scarlet lawn phantom with a wingspan of 10 feet. The scarlet lawn phantom absorbed the fire's spiritual energy around it. The flame on its body gradually strengthened. Slowly, it had some spiritual fire. When breaking through, she condensed the spiritual fire along the way. At this time, Wang Daoyuan could not help. He could only release as much fire spiritual energy as he could. In this month, the fire spiritual energy he consumed was more than 3 times his spiritual energy. If it were not for the spiritual pearl space as a shield, he would not have been able to withstand it. When the scarlet lawn phantom came out, the spiritual energy consumption was even greater. Anyway, the spiritual energy in the spiritual pearl space was enough to condense a spiritual fire. However, Wang Daoyuan still kept drinking spiritual wine. After half a day, the scarlet lawn phantom condensed a needle-sized flame in its mouth. He had played with spiritual fire for nearly 200 years, so he naturally knew what a flame was. This was a fire seed condensed. As soon as the fire seed appeared, it began to grow rapidly. Wang Daoyuan also increased the output of spiritual energy. Half a month later, the fire seed grew to the size of a soybean. Wang Daoyuan was very envious. How much time did he spend to condense the pseudo-spiritual fire to let the fire seed grow to the size of a mung bean? This was great. In just half a month, the fire seed grew to the size of a soybean. This was the level of a Tier 3 spiritual fire. At this time, the scarlet lawn phantom no longer absorbed fire spiritual energy. Instead, it gradually shrank. In the end, the scarlet lawn phantom's wingspan shrank to 3 inches. The fire seed was always in its mouth. The spiritual fire condensed by Zhou Luan wouldn't look like this, right? Wang Daoyuan had seen many spiritual fires. His 5 spiritual fires and master's spiritual fires made a total of 6. The functions of different flames were very different, but the shape of the flames was nothing special. Why did Zhou Luan's spiritual fire look like this? Furthermore, not only did this spiritual fire have rich fire spiritual energy, but it also had an energy similar to life force. It was similar to the life force of the life spiritual fire, but there were obvious differences. He pondered for a while. This spiritual fire came from Zhou Luan's small divine ability. Zhou Luan's small divine ability came from her special physique. She had the bloodline of the phoenix race, and this spiritual fire grew into the appearance of the scarlet lawn. This special life force should be related to the legendary phoenix's nirvana. After the spiritual fire shrank to 3 inches, it merged into Zhou Luan's glabella and she woke up. Wang Daoyuan heaved a sigh of relief and teased, "I really didn't expect to be so powerful to make you sleep for so long." Zhou Luan glared at him. "Nothing good comes out of a dog's mouth. Seeing that you've worked so hard for so long, I wanted to praise you. You choked back the good words that were about to come out of my mouth." Wang Daoyuan smiled. "There's no need for good words. It's fine as long as there are benefits." Zhou Luan took out a fiery sunstone from her cosmos ring. The scarlet sun true fire's seed flame was burning on this fiery sunstone. She handed the fiery sunstone to Wang Daoyuan and then realized something was wrong. "The scarlet sun true fire is in my hands. Why do you still have such a rich spiritual fire aura on your body? The grade of this scarlet sun true fire is also wrong. You're already at the middle stage of the gold core realm. The spiritual fire's growth speed is only faster than yours. How can it still be 3rd grade? Could it be that you have 2 scarlet sun true fires?" Wang Daoyuan saw that he couldn't hide it anymore and nodded. Back then, True Lord Hundred Spirit used the Scarlet Feather Crow's natal true fire to condense the spiritual fire. The method he used can condense an unstable pseudo-spiritual fire with the help of the spiritual fire. After a few years of nurturing, it can turn into a spiritual fire. The Scarlet Sun true fire in your hands was nurtured by me using the pseudo-spiritual fire. Hearing this, Zhou Luan said, Then use my Scarlet Luan Nirvana fire to condense a pseudo-spiritual fire. My Scarlet Luan Nirvana fire has inherited a trace of the Phoenix Nirvana fire's power. Although it doesn't have the effect of reviving the dead like the Nirvana fire, I can use the Nirvana secret technique with the help of this spiritual fire to heal my injuries in an instant. You often travel outside and inevitably get injured. With the Scarlet Luan Nirvana fire, I can be more at ease. Chapter 564. Upon hearing this, Wang Daoyuan was a little surprised. He had traveled a lot and was injured a lot. Naturally, he knew what it meant to heal his injuries instantly. Some healing pills, even for superficial wounds, could not heal them instantly. The Azure Dragon Pearl could only heal minor superficial wounds in a short time with the help of vitality. Once he suffered internal injuries, he had to recuperate for a period of time. He asked in surprise, "The Red Luan's Nirvana fire is so powerful?" Zhou Luan had a proud expression. Of course, there are indeed many people in the Zhou family who have awakened small divine abilities and condensed spiritual fire. However, among the spiritual fire condensed, there are very few that have the power of the Nirvana fire. Wang Daoyuan asked, "Doesn't that mean that when fighting with others I can only attack and not defend, and exchange injury for injury? As long as I'm seriously injured, I can use the secret technique to heal my injuries instantly." Zhou Luan looked at him in disdain. "In your dreams? Even if it's a pure-blooded phoenix with the Nirvana fire, there's a slim chance of survival during Nirvana. Although the Zhou family's Nirvana secret technique is only used to heal injuries, it's not without a price. Every Nirvana consumes a large amount of vital essence and blood essence. It's very likely that it will cause one's cultivation to regress and greatly damage one's body. If your vital essence and blood essence are exhausted, you'll lose your life. At that time, even the Nirvana secret technique won't be able to save you. You don't have the Phoenix bloodline, so you'll have to pay an even greater price to use the Nirvana secret technique. Without special means, it might take a few years to recover from the injuries caused by using the secret technique. This secret technique is only for you to have one more life-saving means when you're in danger. Don't use your trump card as a regular method." Wang Daoyuan nodded. This was more reasonable. If they could really use the Nirvana secret technique casually, the Zhou family would have dominated Beiyuan Xiaoxin long ago. Even so, this secret technique was extremely powerful. With the Nirvana secret technique, they would definitely win against opponents of similar strength. He smiled. This is not bad. However, condensing the pseudo-spiritual fire requires about 1/10 of the fire seed. It's very damaging to the spiritual fire. Zhou Luan had an indifferent look on her face. Anyway, it can be healed. If it can't be healed, a guy like you who doesn't get up early without benefits wouldn't have condensed a second Crimson Yang real fire. It can give you another life-saving trump card. Losing a bit of spirit fire origin is nothing. When will we start condensing the pseudo-spiritual fire? Wang Daoyuan replied, "Condensing the pseudo-spiritual fire will consume a large amount of fire attribute spiritual energy. Let's move to the Earth Fire Room on Jade Spring Peak first. Now that you've broken through to the middle stage of the Gold Core realm and condensed your spiritual fire, it's time to move to the Jade Spring Peak. If you don't have any objections, I'll return to Jade Spring Peak and tell the 12th uncle and 3rd brother about Blood Shadow." He told them to pick a few steady foundation establishment juniors to take over the steward's position. As for management, he would transfer Cui Ming over first. Qian Feng in Clearglass City is under my control anyways. Leaving 2 Zifu disciple golems in Clearglass City is too much of a waste. Zhou Luan nodded. She didn't have any objections. Wang Daoyuan immediately returned to Jade Spring Peak and called the 12th uncle and 3rd brother to his Immortal's cave. He opened all the restrictions and said, "I found a Dao companion outside and plan to bring her to the Earth Fire Room on Jade Spring Peak. I wonder if the Earth Fire Room has been built yet?" The 12th uncle had an astonished expression. "The Earth Fire Room has been built long ago. There are many formation masters in the clan. This small matter is nothing. You really aren't someone who can stay idle. 5th uncle and I were discussing the matter of finding a Dao companion for you before. After all, The clan's huge property was built by one person. If you leave behind a descendant, it'll be easier for you to take over the clan in the future. We haven't even come up with an idea yet, but you've already found one yourself. Which power does nephew's wife belong to? What's her cultivation level? Wang Daoyuan replied, her cultivation level is at the middle stage of the Gold Core realm. She's a distant branch of the Zhou clan, but her identity is rather sensitive. What I'm going to say next is only known to the three of us and fifth uncle. If this matter is leaked, it'll be much more dangerous than exposing the 5 elements mystery realm. You'd better keep your mouths shut. The two nodded solemnly. Wang Daoyuan then continued, there's an underground power in Beiyuan Xiaoxian called Blood Shadow. Its strength is comparable to the 4 top powers. In terms of intelligence, it's fully deserving of being number 1. Blood Shadow has established branches in various places, mainly dealing in assassination business. There are 2 Blood Shadow branches in the territory under the jurisdiction of the administrator's office. They are the Qingli branch and the Shanbei branch. I'm currently the Shanbei branch's deputy hall master, and the hall master is my Dao companion. The Qingli branch's hall master and deputy hall master are also my people. I want to take over the family's dark hall and arrange for the clan's dark hall cultivators to enter the Blood Shadow branches, turning these 2 branches into the Wang clan's branches. In this way, Yannan County will become a monolithic block. If other powers want to meddle in Yannan County's affairs, they'll be suppressed by both the righteous and the righteous. You're the clan's decision-makers. If this matter is hidden from you, it's possible that your own family will fight in the future. That's why I'm asking for your opinions. The two were stunned for a long time. Only then did the 12th uncle react, saying, You've done so many great things these years? You've even taken down the underground powers. You've contributed more than 90% to the clan's achievements today. Since you've made your preparations, I don't have any objections to what you want to do. The third brother also nodded, I don't have any objections either. The Dark Hall has always acted in secret, and most of the clansmen don't know of their existence. In the Dark Hall, there are now 5 foundation establishment cultivators and 100 or so qi refinement cultivators. They're all reliable people. In addition, I have an idea. After the foundation establishment pills were distributed, there were also a dozen or so foundation establishment cultivators in the elemental mystery realm. Moreover, the Daoist slips opened their Violet Palace not long ago. It's not too appropriate for them to show their faces outside. It's easy for people to think that our Wang clan has some hidden trump cards. What I mean is that the cultivators nurtured in the elemental mystery realm can conceal their identities and blend into Blood Shadow as long as they're capable enough. In this way, they can also be of use. Wang Daoyuan and the 12th uncle both nodded. This method was indeed better. The cultivators in the elemental mystery realm had always been a backup plan. However, if they were to stay in the elemental mystery realm without any hardships, the cultivators they nurtured would also be a bunch of trash. As for exposing the secret realm, it wasn't a big deal. There weren't many secret realms in the whole of Beiyuan Xiaoxian, but they weren't rare either. Which major power didn't have a secret realm? The elemental mystery realm only had a rank 3 spirit vein. Even if those major powers knew, they wouldn't take it too seriously. Only small and medium-sized golden core powers like the Netherworld sect would be interested in the elemental mystery realm. With Wang Daoyuan's strength and the Divine Weapon Pavilion as his backing, he really wasn't afraid of a power like the Netherworld sect. Wang Daoyuan said, I haven't been to the elemental mystery realm for a long time. I'm not too familiar with the foundation establishment cultivators in the clan. Third brother, you'll be in charge of selecting suitable people. Once you've selected them, bring them to me. Wang Daochang nodded and left the cave abode to select people. 3 days later, he brought a Violet Palace Realm cultivator and 6 foundation establishment cultivators to Wang Daoyuan's cave abode. This Violet Palace Realm cultivator was Wang Daojian, a cultivator with 2 spirit veins. His main spirit vein was a 7-inch gold spirit vein. When Wang Daoyuan was still in the foundation establishment realm, he had taught him some sword cultivation techniques. After he obtained the Guiyuan Sword Codex, he gave up on his own cultivation techniques and switched to the Guiyuan Sword Codex. Wang Daoyuan looked at him and asked, "What's your Violet Palace realm phenomenon?" Wang Daojin replied, "It's a long sword without any decorations." He had never heard of such a Violet Palace realm phenomenon. It was hard to say whether it was strong or weak. "Do you have a natal Dharma artifact?" "It's already refined, but it's still condensing the tool pattern." Wang Daoyuan nodded and didn't ask any more questions. He changed the topic and said, "I'm sure the Patriarch has already told you about your mission. Spread out and pay attention to conceal yourselves. First, stay at the Immortal Welcoming Pavilion in the returning Wild Goose Market. When the time comes, someone will bring my clan's elder token to you. You just have to do as that person says." The 7 of them nodded and left the Jade Spring Peak. Chapter 565. After the 7 of them left, Wang Daoyuan left Jade Spring Peak under the cover of the Black Magic Robe and headed for Guiyan Market. When he arrived at the underground branch, Cui Ming had already arrived at the Shanbei branch. Wang Daoyuan gave his clan elder token to Cui Ming and asked him to bring all the disciples to the underground branch. He couldn't do this himself, so it was better to leave it to Cui Ming. When third brother gave them the task, he naturally wouldn't reveal the secret. Wang Daojin and the other 6 only knew that they had infiltrated Blood Shadow to obtain information for their family. Even if they were captured by outsiders and their identities were discovered through soul-searching, it would at most be because the Wang family knew about Blood Shadow and wanted to infiltrate it. To Wang Daoyuan, this was a small problem. Even if it was leaked, Blood Shadow's headquarters would at most order Zhou Luan to investigate the Shanbei branch. If they investigated their own, it would be over. The administrator's office was also a Golden Core faction, so the headquarters would also choose to do business with the Wang family. After all, they had sent Golden Core cultivators hundreds of thousands of miles to attack the Wang family in South Yen County. If they weren't careful, they would lose several Golden Core cultivators. The price was too high. If he kidnapped Zhou Luan, then the Shanbei and Qingli branches would all have the surname Wang. This was a big deal. If this was leaked, Blood Shadow's headquarters would rather lose a few Golden Core cultivators and send people to flatten the Wang family. Otherwise, Blood Shadow's dignity would be completely lost. Cui Ming took his token and brought the 7 of them to the underground branch, where they recorded their identity information. Of course, Wang Daojin hid his identity as a Zifu cultivator. They were assigned to Jackdaw's clones and trained for a period of time before they were made managers. After dealing with the transfer of power, Wang Daoyuan went to Zhou Luan's cave residence. This time, she didn't cultivate. Instead, she lay on a deck chair in the backyard and ate red pine nuts. Her clothes were still very thrifty. Wang Daoyuan asked with a smile, "Hall Master, everything here has been arranged. Can you come back to the mountain with me to be the wife of the chief?" Zhou Luan didn't argue with him this time. She sighed and said, "I've been here for too long. I really can't bear to leave." Wang Daoyuan didn't seem to care at all. "If there's anything you can't bear to part with, we'll take them all. I'll build an identical immortal cave for you in the Earth Fire Room of Jade Spring Peak." Although the Jade Spring Peak wasn't big, it was still a few dozen miles in radius. It won't be a problem to open up an immortal's cave of a few acres in size near the Earth Fire. Hearing this, Zhou Luan's mood improved. She stood up and pointed at the garden, saying, "Take all the spirit plants here, but forget about the house. In the future, I'll have to come back from time to time to take care of business." Wang Daoyuan called his doppelganger Mou and Lu Zong in and had them help pack up the spirit plants. The 2 of them didn't have many years left to live. This time, he'd put them in the space of the spirit pearl and take them with him. It'd be easier for him to take back his subsouls. Jackdaw, on the other hand, still had a few years left to live. He had him stay here and cooperate with Cui Ming to control the Shanbei branch. Once Wang Daojin familiarized himself with Blood Shadow's affairs, he'd take Jackdaw back. Soon, the 2 doppelganger finished packing up all the spirit plants. Wang Daoyuan asked, "Why don't we take the bed with us? I'm used to sleeping on it. I don't want to leave it behind." Zhou Luan didn't refute him. Instead, she walked into her room and said, "Wait for me to change my clothes. I'll formally meet the elders. Wearing this isn't very dignified." Wang Daoyuan wanted to go in and help, but a fireball blasted him out. 4 hours later, Zhou Luan appeared in a fiery red dress with a scarlet phoenix embroidered with golden thread. Her expression didn't change. Before Wang Daoyuan could flatter her, she stretched out her hand and said, "Let me use the 100 spirits ring. There are too many things to bring. My interspatial ring can't hold them all." Wang Daoyuan had no choice but to take out the 100 spirits ring and help her pack. He hadn't seen her change her clothes many times before. In reality, the clothes weighed more than 1,000 kilograms. Add to that a pile of artifacts, spirit wine, and other miscellaneous items. An ordinary interspatial ring wouldn't be able to hold them all. After half a day, the two of them finally packed up everything. Wang Daoyuan took the bed with him. He put the black magic robe on Zhou Luan. The two of them left the underground branch and returned to Jade's Spring Peak. When they returned to Jade's Spring Peak, 5th granduncle, 12th uncle, and 3rd brother were already waiting for them in the auditorium. Wang Daoyuan led Zhou Luan into the auditorium. The soundproof and anti-prying formations were immediately activated. 5th granduncle asked, "Daoyuan, where's your granddaughter-in-law?" Zhou Luan was wearing the black magic robe. With the invisibility spell, even golden core cultivators wouldn't be able to discover her, let alone Zifu realm cultivators. Wang Daoyuan took the black magic robe off her body. She bowed to 5th granduncle and said, "Granddaughter-in-law Zhou Luan greets 5th granduncle." 5th granduncle nodded in satisfaction and said, "Daoyuan, you're really lucky." Zhou Luan also bowed to 12th uncle and 3rd brother. The two of them also responded. After exchanging greetings for a while, Wang Daoyuan said, "Zhou Luan is a fire attribute cultivator. It's not suitable for her to live near Jade Dragon Spring. I plan to open an Immortal's cave at the bottom of the Earth Fire Room for her." The three of them naturally didn't have any objections. 3rd brother smiled and said, "I'll set the bottom of the Earth Fire Room as a restricted area. No one is allowed to trespass. You guys can live there at ease." After exchanging a few more words, Wang Daoyuan brought Zhou Luan to the ancestral shrine to worship their ancestors. Then, they went to the ancestral grave at the back mountain to worship their parents. After that, the two of them came to the Earth Fire Room. The entire Earth Fire Room had more than 100 smaller rooms. The fire eye had already been set up. Some clansmen were refining pills and refining tools in the smaller rooms. The entire Earth Fire Room was several thousand feet deep. The existing rooms were relatively close to the upper level, far away from the lava. After all, the highest cultivation level of the clan's refiners and pill refiners was only at the peak of foundation establishment. There were also many clansmen at Qi refinement. If they were too close to the lava, they wouldn't be able to withstand it. In the future, when there were more clansmen with higher cultivation levels, they could continue to open up smaller rooms. Wang Daoyuan and Zhou Luan didn't disturb them and went straight to the lowest level. This place was only 1,000 feet away from the lava. Apart from Wang Daoyuan and Zhou Luan, no one in the clan could stay here for long periods of time. Naturally, they didn't open up small rooms here. Wang Daoyuan took out a wisp of dust-returning flame and threw it on the stone wall directly south of the lava lake. In just a few minutes, a small room of 20 feet square was burned out. Then he set up the fire eye array to control the fire attribute spirit Qi while controlling the dust-returning flame to burn the stone wall. Zhou Luan didn't disturb him and meditated beside the fire eye. 2 days later, the array for the fire eye and the array to block outside detection were set up. The dust-returning flame also burned out a cave that was similar to the cave abode in the northern part of the mountain. Wang Daoyuan set up another array to separate the fire eye from the cave abode. After all kinds of spirit plants were planted in the cave abode. If the fire spirit Qi wasn't blocked out, these spirit plants wouldn't be able to withstand it. More than a month later, all kinds of arrays were set up. After a few more days, the cave abode was completely restored. In order to neutralize the fire spirit Qi, Wang Daoyuan also drew a water vein and artificially created a spirit spring. Finally, he took out a carved wooden bed and placed it in the boudoir. He smiled and said, "Mistress of the fort, I fulfilled my promise. Is there any reward?" Zhou Luan rolled her eyes at him and stretched out her hand. What mistress of the fort? Call me Lord Hallmaster. Take out the secret method of condensing the pseudo-spirit fire. I'll reward you with it. Wang Daoyuan replied, Yes, mistress of the fort. The pseudo-spirit fire doesn't matter if it's sooner or later. Why don't you reward me with something else first? Zhou Luan glared at him. What do you think? Wang Daoyuan hurriedly replied, I have no objections. Then, he took out the inheritance copy left behind by True Lord Hundred Spirits. The inheritance of True Lord Hundred Spirits that I obtained is all here. The secret method of condensing the pseudo-spirit fire is in the fire control record. Zhou Luan carefully studied the fire control record. A day later, she took out a wisp of red Luan Nirvana flame and placed it in the fire eye to nourish it. The power of this red Luan Nirvana flame was indeed extraordinary. Although it was only a third-grade spirit fire, the speed at which it absorbed fire spirit chi and strengthened itself was comparable to a fourth-grade spirit fire. Chapter 566. In just 3 days, the rootless flame had accumulated enough spiritual energy. Zhou Luan summoned the scarlet Luan Nirvana flame. This flame was still in the form of the scarlet Luan divine bird, with a fire seed in its mouth. She used a secret technique and separated a bit of the scarlet Luan's Nirvana flame into the fire eye. The scarlet phoenix Nirvana flame was condensed from her small sacred art. When this flame was condensed, it had already recognized its master. No one else could touch it. If Wang Daoyuan were to make a move, not to mention splitting the fire seed, even his divine sense would be attacked. If Zhou Luan did it herself, the scarlet Luan's Nirvana flame would not have the slightest bit of resistance. The scarlet Luan's Nirvana flame had lost a part of its fire seed, causing its flame to become a little smaller. Zhou Luan quickly withdrew it back into her body to nourish it. The pseudo-spiritual fire in the fire eye had yet to stabilize, but Wang Daoyuan had to personally take care of it. Otherwise, the flame that he cultivated in the future would still recognize Zhou Luan as its master and not listen to him. In the past, nurturing the pseudo-spirit fire was very troublesome. It required a very long time to stabilize the pseudo-spirit fire without any risk of extinguishing. Now that he had the meteorite fire-controlling gourd, he didn't need to wait. He took out the gourd, which contained the rootless fire of the 5 elements spiritual fire. Wang Daoyuan drained all the spiritual energy in the gourd, and the rootless flame extinguished by itself. After that, he kept the rootless flame of the scarlet Luan Nirvana flame into the gourd. With the protection of the gourd, there was no need to worry that it would be extinguished. The gourd had recognized Wang Daoyuan as its master, and the pseudo-spiritual fire had been nurtured into a spiritual fire in the gourd. In the future, it would also recognize Wang Daoyuan as its master. He already had 5 types of spiritual fire, so this scarlet Luan Nirvana flame naturally could not be refined into a spiritual energy seed. Even if it was refined into one's body, it could still be devoured and assimilated by the scarlet Yang primordial fire. Although he could use the scarlet phoenix's Nirvana flame to cast the Nirvana secret technique, it did not have pure Yang Qi. The pure Yang Qi of the scarlet Yang true fire and the pure Yin Qi of the Gui water nether flame were in balance. It was extremely beneficial to the growth of the fleshly body and the soul. It was not worthwhile to use the scarlet phoenix Nirvana flame to replace the scarlet Yang true fire. However, this scarlet phoenix's Nirvana flame was not completely useless. It could be used in conjunction with the secret arts in the essence of the divine ability. The essentials of divine arts that he had exchanged with Zhong Zhenyang had recorded many methods to help him comprehend lesser divine arts. The most reliable one was the phenomenon in his Violet Palace. In other words, he used spiritual items that were compatible with the Purple Mansion phenomenon to nurture it. The essence of divine ability speculated that the lesser divine abilities of Golden Core cultivators came from the Purple Mansion phenomenon. It could be said that the lesser divine ability was sleeping within the Purple Mansion phenomenon. Those who had comprehended lesser divine abilities were just blind cats running into dead mice, coincidentally awakening lesser divine abilities. This secret technique required a massive amount of spiritual items to nurture the Violet Palace's phenomenon. The stronger the Purple Mansion anomaly was, the easier it was to awaken a lesser ability. Other methods, such as coming into contact with things similar to the Violet Palace realm phenomenon, could also increase the chances of encountering dead rats. Even worse was the Violet Palace resonance secret technique. The other method was to comprehend the innate Dharma spells of the same species as the Violet Palace phenomenon. For example, the reverse scale of the jade-scaled flood dragon in Wang Daoyuan's possession. According to the essence of divine ability, the reverse scale of a dragon hid the innate Dharma spells that the dragon had comprehended. These innate Dharma spells could be transformed into lesser divine abilities in the future. Comprehending these innate Dharma spells would naturally be of great help in comprehending lesser divine abilities. Although there were many successful examples of these methods, the success rate couldn't be compared to nurturing the Violet Palace phenomenon. The success rate of nurturing the Violet Palace phenomenon was higher, but it also had a fatal flaw, which was that it consumed too many resources. Even tens of thousands of years ago, when the Valley of Beasts was still around, only those cultivators who were heavily nurtured by the sect could afford to use this method. Wang Daoyuan was the least afraid of consuming resources to nurture the Violet Palace phenomenon. Apart from the blood essence of the 5 elements divine beasts, there were no other resources that could compare to the spiritual fire. Among the 5 element spiritual fires that he had refined, only the Crimson Yang primordial fire was not suitable for nurturing the vermilion bird phenomenon. After all, the Crimson Yang primordial fire came from the scarlet feathered crow and had a trace of the golden crow's charm. Otherwise, it wouldn't have its current power. If he used the Crimson Yang primordial fire to nurture the vermilion bird phenomenon, the charm of the 2 divine birds might consume each other and cause the opposite effect. The other 4 spiritual fires had nothing to do with the divine beasts and wouldn't have such side effects when nurturing the Violet Palace phenomenon. However, the Crimson Luan Nirvana fire was very suitable for nurturing the vermilion bird phenomenon. Legend has it that the vermilion bird was an extremely powerful variant of the phoenix race and was far stronger than ordinary phoenixes. The Crimson Luan was also of the phoenix race. Although it wasn't as strong as the vermilion bird, the charm of the 2 should be very similar. The best way to nurture the vermilion bird phenomenon should be the vermilion bird's Nanming primordial fire. However, this was the legendary top-tier divine fire. Even the ancient mighty figures couldn't get their hands on it, let alone him. Using the Crimson Luan Nirvana fire to nurture the vermilion bird phenomenon should be more effective than the other 4 spiritual fires. Wang Daoyuan placed the meteorite fire controlling gourd directly into the fire eye to absorb the fire attribute spirit energy and stabilize the pseudo-spirit fire. Zhou Luan took out 2 jade slips and handed them to him. Wang Daoyuan took the jade slips and checked them. The 2 jade slips recorded the Nirvana secret technique and the Crimson Luan fire controlling escape technique. He asked, "Mistress of the fort, why did you give me the escape technique as well?" Zhou Luan answered, "Although your cloud escaping technique is very powerful, it's not very good after leaving the water. In an environment like a volcano, it's even harder to use it. My Crimson Luan fire controlling escape technique can make up for your shortcomings. Now that you also have the Crimson Luan Nirvana fire, with the spiritual fire and the escape technique, your speed will far surpass that of ordinary level 4 escape techniques. With this escape technique, it'll be safer for you when you go out." Wang Daoyuan hugged Zhou Luan and said, "You're really my virtuous wife, always thinking of me." Zhou Luan's face turned slightly red. "You and I are husband and wife. Didn't you also give me the inheritance of true Lord 100 spirits?" Wang Daoyuan hugged Zhou Luan and walked towards her room. Just as he put her on the bed, the Hall Master token flickered with spiritual power. Zhou Luan took the token, checked it, and said, "The refined corpses are moving again. 1 level 4 high grade, 2 level 4 middle grade, and 3 level 4 low grade. A total of 6 refined corpses are heading towards the east." The atmosphere was gone just like that. Wang Daoyuan wanted nothing more than to smash the Hall Master token. Looking at his flustered and exasperated appearance, Zhou Luan smiled and said, "You're only so promising. Think of a countermeasure first. With so many refined corpses moving out, the demonic beasts are like a plate of loose sand, unable to resist at all. In the future, the heavenly/mountain range will not be peaceful. We have to be prepared to resist the demonic beasts. Wang Daoyuan did not take it seriously. I have the meteoric fire controlling gourd, so I can kill level 4 high-grade refined corpses now. Level 4 high-grade demonic beasts without small divine abilities are also not my match. As for those low-level demonic beasts that cannot fly, I can casually release a type of flame, and they will all die. As long as there is no large-scale beast tide, there is no need to be afraid of them. Zhou Luan nodded and said, "The demonic beasts are chased away by the refined corpses. They are like headless flies, and there will not be a beast tide in a short period of time. You have the means to kill a large number of low-level demonic beasts, so there is no need to be too worried. I will let the spies gather more information and report immediately if there is any abnormality." Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, "Lord Hallmaster, you see that managing the intelligence agency is so tiring. Why don't you let me manage it? You can also wholeheartedly cultivate." Zhou Luan looked at him with disdain. "In your dreams? You want to hide your little tricks from me? If the intelligence agency falls into your hands, I won't know if you are fooling around outside in the future, right? I have the intelligence agency in my hands, and you dare to cuddle with that vixen Ming Exin. If I let you manage the intelligence agency, I'm afraid you will dare to stay in the Dark Fox tribe. Who knows, maybe the little foxes have already given birth to a bunch of babies." Wang Daoyuan subconsciously retorted, "How can a Jindan cultivator give birth so quickly?" Zhou Luan pinched his waist and even twisted it a few times. She said angrily, "You really think so? When you go out in the future, I will have to strengthen the surveillance on you. All day long, you think about fooling around. If you are not careful, you can find a vixen." Wang Daoyuan hurriedly begged for mercy, and the two of them played around for a while. He felt that the doppelganger, devouring soul, had entered the range of his panoramic perception. He immediately checked devouring soul's memories to see what kind of tricks the refined corpses were playing. Chapter 567. Devouring Spirit had been monitoring the refined corpses hiding in the Inchi cave. From his memories, he knew that the cave was called the Ghost Cave. It was said that the space below the cave was huge and was connected to a natural 4th-level Yin vein. 14 hours ago, Devouring Spirit saw 6 refined corpses coming straight to the Ghost Cave from the west. There were originally 4 refined corpses trapped in the Ghost Cave. The 3 demonic beasts that were killed by the refined corpses had turned into walking corpses. There were 15 4th-level demonic beasts guarding outside the Ghost Cave. Although the demonic beasts had the advantage in numbers, they were only 4th-level demonic beasts. When the two sides fought, the 4th-level upper-level refined corpses showed their might and no demonic beast could stop them. After 6 hours of fierce fighting, 5 demonic beasts died and the rest were all injured. The refined corpses also suffered losses. The 3 walking corpses were burned to ashes by the fire attributed demonic beasts. The other 3 4th-level lower-level refined corpses were also killed. The demonic beasts no longer had the courage to fight and were preparing to flee. Fortunately, a 4th-level upper-level black flame tiger came from the sky-chopping mountain range and blocked the 4th-level upper-level refined corpse. The black flame tiger was a fire-attributed demonic beast, and Wang Daoyuan was not unfamiliar with it. In the past, the Netherworld sect fought with the cruel Sun Palace for the share of the Spirit Stone Mine. He once fought with a half-demonic beast called Black Flame. He was a half-demonic beast with the bloodline of the Black Flame Tiger. The Black Flame he used was extraordinary, and the Black Flame Tiger's innate ability was naturally not weak. In the end, the Black Flame Tiger heavily injured the 4th-level upper-level refined corpse. However, it also suffered some injuries and was unable to take down the 4th-level upper-level refined corpse. They escaped into the Ghost Cave. Although the Black Flame Tiger's injuries were not serious, its wounds were contaminated with corpse and death energy. It would not heal in a short time. It did not dare to continue guarding the Ghost Cave and could only return to its nest to recuperate. Since the black flame tiger had escaped, the rest of the fourth-level lower-level demonic beasts did not dare to continue guarding the ghost cave. Those who had clans fled with their clans, while those who didn't had to flee directly. The refined corpses hiding in the ghost cave would recover quickly. If there were no other fourth-level upper-level demonic beasts, the refined corpses would be able to run rampant. Zhou Luan saw that Wang Daoyuan was deep in thought and asked, "Did the devouring spirit discover something?" Wang Daoyuan nodded and repeated what Devourer had seen. Then he said, "Fortunately, the black flame tiger blocked the refined corpse and gave the demonic beasts a chance to retreat. Otherwise, the demonic beasts would scatter in all directions, and a beast tide would be right in front of them. Even now, with a portion of the demonic beasts heading south, the heavenly/mountain range would not be peaceful. Even though the refined corpses were injured, they would be able to fully recover after staying in the Netherworld cave for 3 to 5 years. At that time, it will be another big problem." Zhou Luan was also somewhat worried and asked, "How should we deal with this? Do you need me to make a move?" Wang Daoyuan comforted him, "Don't worry, I have no problem dealing with these demonic beasts." Then he sent a message to his third brother, Wang Daocheng, telling him that the demonic beasts might affect Fallen Dragon Ridge. He told him to inform the clansmen at Fallen Dragon Ridge to make preparations. Now, Wang Daoyuan was not in the mood to discuss the issue of life with Zhou Luan. He had to seize the time to improve his strength. His cultivation had just broken through to the middle stage of the Golden Core realm, and there would not be any obvious improvement in a short period of time. His natal magic artifact was nurtured by spiritual fire, and its growth speed was extremely fast. It was already a mid-grade 4th-level weapon. It was difficult to improve other spells and comprehension in a short period of time. The most reliable method to improve his strength greatly in a short period of time was to cultivate the Nirvana secret technique and the Red Phoenix fire defense escape technique that Zhou Luan gave him. With the Nirvana secret technique, it was equivalent to having an extra life. When facing an opponent of equal or even slightly stronger strength, this was the trump card to win. A month later, he had mastered the Nirvana secret technique and the Red Phoenix fire defense escape technique. The Nirvana secret technique was an extremely expensive method, so naturally, he could not really use it. He just needed to familiarize himself with it. The Red Phoenix fire defense escape technique was more advanced than the Cloud Mist escape technique, but it was also a 4th-level escape technique, so the difficulty was not much different. During this month, he had been cultivating the escape technique in the lava lake below the cave abode. The 3rd-level superior-grade lava did not pose much of a threat to him. The results of his cultivation were also very obvious. With his current level, coupled with the Red Phoenix Nirvana fire, his escape speed was much faster than the Cloud Mist escape technique. Now that he had mastered the Red Phoenix fire defense escape technique, he no longer had any reliable methods to improve it. He could only take a gamble and use the essence of the Abhijna secret technique to nurture the Purple Mansion phenomenon. If he was lucky and suddenly comprehended a lesser Abhijna secret technique, it would be a huge gain. Even if he did not comprehend a lesser Abhijna secret technique, he could still strengthen the Purple Mansion phenomenon. When the Purple Mansion phenomenon strengthened, the divine beast charm that he comprehended would also be strengthened. Especially when the Purple Mansion resonated, its power would be greatly increased. The Purple Mansion phenomenon was a manifestation of a law. The other factions were only researching how to use the Purple Mansion phenomenon to improve their strength. However, he had never heard of a method to strengthen the Purple Mansion phenomenon. In this aspect, the Valley of Beasts could be said to be at the forefront. If the Valley of Beasts could continue, he might be able to open up a new cultivation path. Wang Daoyuan guided a wisp of life spirit fire into his sea of consciousness, then used the secret technique to merge it with the Azure Dragon phenomenon. After more than 10 days, he finally felt that his Azure Dragon phenomenon had improved a little. The divine beast charm of the Azure Dragon had also strengthened a little. The spiritual fire essence that he had consumed over the past few days added up to 10 times the amount of spiritual energy in his body. If not for the lava providing him with an endless supply of spiritual energy, he would not have been able to endure it. If this amount of spiritual energy was converted into spiritual stones, it should be more than 500,000 spiritual stones. Spiritual fire essence was not something that ordinary spiritual energy could compare to. If he directly consumed the spiritual energy in spiritual stones, it would not have such a strong effect. No wonder the essence of the Abhijna secret technique said that this secret technique consumed a lot of resources. It was indeed a ridiculous amount. Furthermore, this investment could be a bottomless pit. After investing a huge amount of resources, the probability of not comprehending a lesser Abhijna secret technique in the end was not small. The 5-spirit immortal transformation art emphasized balance the most. He could not only nurture the Azure Dragon phenomenon, but also the other 4 divine beast phenomenons. After spending more than a month, he strengthened all the divine beast phenomenons. The situation of the vermilion bird phenomenon was similar to his previous manifestation technique. Using the Scarlet Luan's Nirvana fire to strengthen the vermilion bird phenomenon achieved the same results. However, only 1/3 of the spiritual fire essence was consumed. During these 3 months, there were not many changes in the heavenly/mountain range. The Thunder Ape and Yun Yi were able to deal with some level 2 and level 3 demon beasts. Wang Daoyuan was about to continue strengthening the Purple Mansion phenomenon when he sensed a golden core cultivator's spiritual energy fluctuation from the west of the Jade Spring Peak. He immediately left the Earth Fire Room and went outside the mountain to welcome him. When he got closer, he realized that it was Gu Wangzong. Wang Daoyuan welcomed him to the family's hall. The two of them sat down as the host and the guest. Before Wang Daoyuan could ask, Gu Wangzong cupped his hands and said, "The 3 forts of Wuqing Pass have been breached. The Song cultivators have already reached the back of Wuqing Pass. Now, both sides are fighting a war of attrition. The 5 grand elders of the sect have already rushed to Wuqing Pass. Administrator, please send some cultivators to reinforce them." Wang Daoyuan cursed in his heart. This was a case of, blessings do not come in pairs, and misfortunes do not come singly. He had just abducted Zhou Luan to Jade Spring Peak and was about to enjoy it after 200 years. Just as he was about to enjoy it, the refined corpses caused trouble. Now, there was another problem at Wuqing Pass. There were so many troublesome matters. However, it was impossible for him to reinforce them. When the Underworld sect had 7 golden core cultivators, they could not do anything to him. Now that there are only 2 golden core cultivators left, they want to force him to submit? He no longer feigned civility and directly refused, "I will not leave South Yen County, and I can't leave." 3 months ago, 6 refined corpses moved out of the Mirror Lake's secret realm. One of them was an upper-grade level 4 refined corpse. They met up with the 4 refined corpses and 3 walking corpses in the Ghost Cave and fought with the demon beasts. After killing 5 level 4 demon beasts, the low-level demon beasts fled in all directions. The Wang family's properties are being harassed by demon beasts. Those refined corpses were also injured and are hiding in the Ghost Cave to recover. Once they come out of the cave, they will most likely head south. At that time, the entire South Yen County may turn into a living hell. You want me to go to Wuqing Pass when the family is in danger? Is this a joke? Chapter 568. Hearing this, Gu Wangzong didn't look too good. Now that Zhao State was empty, once demonic beasts or refined corpses came in, the losses would be great. With this excuse, the administrator's mansion would never attack again. The consumption of Song State could only be borne by the Netherworld sect. He still wanted to struggle and asked, "Administrator, the sect doesn't have enough resources now. In the past 2 years, you must have noticed that the sect's resources transported to Qingli Market have been reduced by 30%. There are almost no medicinal pills for healing and restoring spiritual power. The consumption at the front line is great, and the sect doesn't have enough medicinal pills, let alone sell them. I wonder if the administrator's mansion can sell some of these medicinal pills?" The administrator's mansion was about to face a possible beast tide and refined corpses coming from the south. Qi refining cultivators couldn't get involved in this level of battle at all. Foundation establishment cultivators were also cannon fodder, and they didn't need too many level 1 or 2 healing medicinal pills. The healing medicinal pills produced in Yan'an County were usually sold to Guiyuan Market and Green Willow Province, and they didn't use many of them. It didn't matter who he sold it to. It didn't matter if he sold it to the Netherworld sect. Wang Daoyuan replied, "It's not a problem to sell level 1 or 2 healing medicinal pills, but what about the price?" In the past, these medicinal pills were sold to Green Willow Province and Guiyuan Market, and the price was 50% higher than the market price. Gu Wangzong hurriedly said, "The price is not a problem. We can also sell them 50% higher than the market price. Moreover, we can send a flying boat to Qingli Market to transport goods. I have one more thing to ask. In the early years, the administrator was able to refine level 3 Golden Thunder Demon destroying talismans. How is your level now?" "Recently, my talisman making level has improved, and now I can refine level 3 upper grade Golden Thunder Demon destroying talismans. But does the sect want to buy some?" Gu Wangzong nodded. "We do have this intention. In the battle at Wuqing Pass, the Golden Core cultivators haven't taken action yet. So far, the Foundation Establishment cultivators are the backbone, and the Zifu Realm cultivators are the main force. It's just that Song Yi, Emperor Song's sister, joined the Wind Snow Divine Palace, and her attainments in talismans are extremely high. Zhao State doesn't have an advantage in talismans. Sometimes, a level 3 upper grade flying boat was destroyed by a level 3 upper grade talisman, and the 3 major sects suffered heavy losses. If the administrator still had talismans, the sect was willing to buy them at a high price. In addition, the sect can provide talisman paper and spiritual ink for you to refine the Golden Thunder Demon Extermination Talisman. What do you think?" The Netherworld sect's talisman crafting inheritance was not very good. It could not be compared to the Snow God Palace's ice attribute talismans. Wang Daoyuan naturally had no objections to this business. It was not easy to obtain Tier 3 talisman paper and spirit ink. The administrator's residence's foundation was still too weak and didn't have a stable production of Grade 3 phase. Previously, in order to improve his talisman crafting skills, he had used up more than half of the talisman papers that he had accumulated over the years. If he helped the Underworld sect refine talismans, he would be able to save a lot of talisman paper and talisman ink. Moreover, he could earn some spirit stones to purchase more raw materials from Shanbei. A great battle was coming, so they had to make more preparations. The future of the Zhao Kingdom was very chaotic. It could be the survival of the 3 major sects, or the revival of the Zhao Kingdom. It was also possible that the Song Kingdom would invade. With the Wang clan's current resources and manpower, they could at most expand their territory a little. There were more than 20 Golden Core cultivators in the 3 major sects, but it was still difficult to maintain the entire state of Zhao. Wang Daoyuan didn't have any thoughts about swallowing the entire state of Zhao. For the Wang clan, the revival of the 9th prince's bloodline was the best result. The Wang clan had made a great contribution. If he contributed a little more, the Wang clan would get the title of County Duke, and it wouldn't be a problem for them to expand their territory. If the 6th prince's bloodline was revived, the Wang clan would be suppressed. It would be better for the 3 major sects to continue to survive. The invasion of the Song Kingdom was the worst result, and it would be difficult for the Wang clan to survive. Therefore, it was in the Wang clan's long-term interest to deal with the Song Kingdom. It was in the long-term interest, and they could also gain a lot of immediate benefits. Wang Daoyuan naturally had no objections. He nodded and said, "I still have some Golden Thunder Demon Extermination talismans. I don't think you'll be interested in the low-grade Tier 3 talismans. As for the talismans, I don't need to refine low-grade talismans. I'll just refine Tier 3 talismans. However, how do you calculate the payment for the talismans?" When Gu Wangzong heard Wang Daoyuan agree, he was overjoyed and quickly said, "Administrator, this price is very fair. I have no objection. The sect will provide all the raw materials for the talismans, and the talisman success rate will be 30%. If the success rate is less than 30%, each talisman will be paid 20,000 spirit stones. If the success rate is more than 30%, each talisman will be paid 100,000 spirit stones. How many Tier 3 Golden Thunder Demon Extermination Talismans do you have? I'll take them all. Wang Daoyuan nodded and said, no problem. I'm very satisfied with this condition. Now I have 50 Tier 3 Golden Thunder Demon Extermination Talismans in my hand. You can take them all. Gu Wangzong also took out 5 storage bags and handed them to Wang Daoyuan. He took the storage bags and scanned them with his divine sense. There were indeed 50,000 mid-grade spirit stones inside. He took out 50 Golden Thunder Demon Extermination Talismans and handed them to Gu Wangzong. Gu Wangzong took the talismans and cupped his hands. The situation ahead is urgent. I won't stay for long. The materials for the talismans will be sent to Qingli City every month. Goodbye. Then he rode a cloud to the west. Wang Daoyuan didn't immediately return to the cave residence in the Earth Fire Room. Instead, he went to the administration hall where the patriarch and grand elder handled official business. 8th uncle and 9th aunt had passed away. The current grand elder was Wang Mingshan. Seeing him come in, Wang Mingshan immediately saluted. Wang Daoyuan waved his hand and said, no need to be so polite. Recently, the Sky Beheading Mountain range has not been peaceful. There may be a large number of Tier 2 and Tier 3 demonic beasts harassing there. It will be difficult to control the situation with just the Thunder Ape and Yun. The family must be prepared and make arrangements for the ordinary clansmen in Fallen Dragon Ridge. The cultivators left behind will also be given Tier 3 life-saving talismans to minimize the losses. The clansmen who are traveling outside will also be summoned back as soon as possible. We must be prepared to deal with a large-scale beast tide. Third brother sucked in a breath of cold air and asked, does this mean that there's going to be a beast tide? Wang Daoyuan shook his head. A beast tide may not necessarily appear. There are refined corpses in the north of the mountain that killed their way into the Sky Beheading Mountain range, causing the demonic beasts to flee. Other than that, there are also man-made reasons. In short, South Yen County will not be peaceful for a period of time in the future. We must be prepared early to avoid being caught unprepared. He took out the spirit stones given by Gu Wangzong and said, take these spirit stones to the north of the mountain to buy all kinds of spiritual items. The war is about to start, and the war will be the family's foundation. It's time to stockpile more resources. The administrator's residence had also stockpiled many spiritual items in case of emergency. They kept about 1% of the resources that passed through their hands. Since the war at Wuqing Pass started again, they kept even more spiritual items, reaching 5%. The spiritual items that they had stockpiled over the years were worth 5 to 6 million spirit stones. However, once the war started, no matter how many resources they prepared, it might not be enough. The more prepared they were, the higher their chances of winning. The third brother took the storage bag and nodded. He returned to the cave abode at the bottom of the earth fire chamber and continued to cultivate the secret technique to strengthen the Purple Mansion phenomenon. Refining spiritual talismans was not a big deal. He could refine a Tier 3 superior grade Golden Lightning Demon Destruction Talisman in an hour. When he was tired from cultivating the secret technique, he could refine 4 or 5 talismans. His talisman success rate had already exceeded 60%, and he could produce 2 to 3 talismans every day. As long as he had enough materials, he could reach Tier 3 in alchemy, smithing, and talisman. The speed at which he earned spirit stones was extremely terrifying. Unfortunately, what the cultivation world lacked the most was spiritual items above Tier 3. Wang Daoyuan cultivated the secret technique in the cave abode every day and made time to refine spiritual talismans. After more than a month, the third brother sent a letter. Someone in the Green Willow continent claimed to be an old friend of the Hidden Cloud continent and the 9th Prince's special envoy. He wanted to meet Wang Daoyuan. The old friend of the Hidden Cloud continent was Shi Zhenbeng. The 9th Prince's special envoy was here to convey the 9th Prince's message. Chapter 569. Wang Daoyuan put on the Black Devil's robe and arrived at the market on Jingtai Mountain. Ever since the administrator's office and the Green Willow province began to do business openly, the small market on Jingtai Mountain, as a place for the exchange of goods, had also prospered. Currently, There were 50 to 60 shops on Jingtai Mountain. The administrator's residence also had 10 foundation establishment cultivators stationed here, but they hadn't established a guardian residence yet. The guardian palace was in charge. Wang Daoyuan came to the restaurant where he had a meeting with Shi Zhenbang and asked for a private room. He revealed a trace of golden core cultivator's spirit energy. Soon, an early-stage golden core cultivator walked over from the east. It was Shi Zhenbang. The last time they met, he was already at the late-stage Violet Palace realm, only a step away from the peak. With the guidance of the Shi clan's ancestor and no lack of resources, it wasn't strange for him to reach the core formation realm after 20 years. His concealment technique was very good. Normal golden core cultivators wouldn't be able to see his true cultivation. After arriving at the private room, Shi Zhenbang cupped his hands and said, "Greetings, Daoyu. It's only been 20 years since we last met, and Daoyu's already at the mid-stage golden core realm. Even the direct disciples of the 4 top factions can't compare to your cultivation speed." Wang Daoyuan didn't hide his cultivation. He naturally had to show his strength when doing business. Besides, he could hide his cultivation without fighting. Once he fought, it would be hard to hide it. There wasn't much point in hiding it. He smiled and said, "Dao, you don't have to flatter me. Weren't you only at the late-stage Violet Palace realm last time? To be able to reach the peak of the Violet Palace realm in less than 20 years, your talent is quite good. You call yourself the 9th Prince's special envoy, so you must have the 9th Prince's decree. Don't beat around the bush. Just say it." Shi Zhenbang replied, "The administrator is well informed. You should know about the situation at Wuxia Pass. What do you plan to do?" The future of the war between the two countries was uncertain. After all, the situation on the battlefield was constantly changing. Any small change could affect the final outcome. However, he still pretended to be confident. There's nothing much to see at Wuxia Pass. The 3 sects are strong, but they can't work together. Although Song Yan controlled the Song Kingdom and had made ample preparations, the foundation of the Song Kingdom was still weak. Now that they were engaged in a war of attrition, no matter which side won, they would suffer heavy losses. No one had the ability to completely defeat the loser. If the 3 sects were defeated, they would probably only lose Wuxia County. The Song nation did not dare to start a war in the hinterland of the Zhao nation. One Wuxia County was enough for the Song nation to digest for 100 years. Behind them, Qi, Chu, and Wu were also eyeing them covetously. The Song kingdom could not afford to delay any longer. Even if the state of Zhao won, they would still ask for resources like they did 100 years ago. Linhai state was still the one that could decide the situation in Zhao. At this time, Wuxia Pass had reached the stage of a life-and-death battle. Most of the forces of the 3 major sects were stalled at Wuxia Pass. The forces of the 6th Prince and Lord Linhai went upstream along the Wanchuan River and directly attacked the hinterland of Zhao State. Only when the Song nation used all its might would they have a chance to take down the 3 sections. Since the 9th Prince asked you to come see me at this time, you must have discussed it with Linhai Prefecture and wanted to pull me in. Seeing Shi Zhenbang's pale face, Wang Daoyuan heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that his conjecture was correct. Shi Zhenbang sighed and said, "Daoyu's foresight is indeed divine. What you said is roughly the same as the plan. The 9th Prince sent me to ask Daoyu's opinion. When the time comes, do you want to set things right, remain neutral, or die with the underworld sect?" Wang Daoyuan showed a mocking expression. "I wonder who will be the leader of the Zhao family? Will it be the 9th Prince or the long-legged prince?" Shi Zhenbang showed a difficult expression. "Of course it will be His Majesty. His Majesty promised that the 9th Prince will be the crown prince after the restoration of the Zhao nation." Wang Daoyuan did not hide it at all. He mocked, "The long-legged prince still looks like he can't be seen in public. He only gave an empty promise. Even his own brother is like this. In his eyes, the Wang family is a rebel. How can we have a good ending?" The long-legged prince's moral character was a mess when he had a good hand in the past. 500 years have passed. Some of the golden core cultivators he took with him back then should have already passed away. It will be difficult for him to raise a large number of golden core cultivators with just the power of Linhai. his current strength will only be weaker than it was back then. This time, he might not even be able to keep his life. No matter what the future of the Zhao nation is, I will always consider the interests of the Wang family. If I help the long-legged prince, not only will I lose a large number of clansmen, but I might also be punished later. It's better for me to take some benefits from the underworld sect and follow orders to put down the rebellion. Shi Zhenbang was not worried but happy. He asked, if the 9th prince starts a rebellion, what will Dao Yu do? Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, Dao Yu is finally talking about business. If the 9th prince's strength is similar to that of the 3 major sects, I will naturally be willing to help the 9th prince. If the difference is too great, then the Wang family can only protect the family. After receiving Wang Daoyuan's promise, Shi Zhenbang smiled. It's good to hear Dao Yu say that. The Wang family saved His Majesty back then and killed 5 golden core cultivators of the Savage Sun Palace. In the end, they sacrificed most of their cultivators for the Zhao family. The 9th prince often says that the Zhao family is ashamed of the Wang family. If the Zhao nation recovers one day, the Wang family will be bestowed with the title of king. Wang Daoyuan waved his hand. There's no need to exaggerate. Zhou Jingyuan also promised me that he would be bestowed with the title of king. I don't believe in that. For the sake of our past relationship, I will give the 9th prince a warning. The 3 major sects are not fools, especially the Myriad Spirit sect, which is the most sinister. In the past 500 years, the Myriad Spirit sect rarely took action, but they played the Savage Sun Palace and the Underworld sect. The Myriad Spirit sect has a larger territory and more resources than the other 2 sections. After the Zhao family was defeated, they had the strongest foundation. But on the surface, they only have 9 golden core cultivators, 2 more than the Underworld sect. Including me, they only have 1 more. One can imagine how many backup plans the Myriad Spirit sect has secretly left behind. Don't forget that the Myriad Spirit sect plays with beasts. If they hide a golden core cultivator, they must have a 4th level spirit beast, which is the combat power of 2 golden core cultivators. The Underworld sect is good at refining corpses and controlling ghosts. These things do not have a lifespan limit. No one knows how much wealth they have left behind over the years. Although the Savage Sun Palace seems to be the most dazed and has been fighting a war of attrition with the Wei nation at the Cold River Pass these years, they seem to be the weakest. But back then, they were the strongest among the 3 major sects, so they must have some wealth. Don't underestimate them. Shi Zhenbang nodded and said with a smile, Thank you, Dao Yu, for the reminder. I will definitely tell the 9th prince. I came this time not only to sound out Dao Yu, but also for an important matter. Then he took out 2 jade bottles and a storage bag. Wang Daoyuan scanned with his divine perception and asked, Dragon Pearl Chalcedony and Yin Yang Purple Jade. 9th Prince, what do you mean by this? The Dragon Pearl Chalcedony was the essence extracted from pseudo-Dragon Balls. The Dragon Pearl Chalcedony extracted from a 3rd-level Dragon Ball could allow an early-stage Foundation Establishment cultivator to reach the peak of Foundation Establishment in a short time. Moreover, this thing could improve a cultivator's foundation. Although it could not directly increase the talent of the spirit root, it could still speed up cultivation. However, pseudo-Dragon Balls were extremely valuable. After the Dragon Pearl Chalcedony was extracted, the pseudo-Dragon Balls were useless. Cultivators with good talent did not need such things at all. Cultivators with poor talent were not even worth as much as pseudo-Dragon Balls. Very few people were willing to destroy pseudo-Dragon Balls to extract the Dragon Pearl Chalcedony. Shi Zhenbang smiled and said, although the 1st prince was defeated, it was not his fault. His grandson, Zhao Liang, was not talented and married into the Wang family, but he was still the eldest son of the Zhao family. As Zhao Liang's granduncle, how could the 9th prince watch as his grandnephew's lifespan was exhausted? This Dragon Pearl Chalcedony and Yin Yang Purple Jade were used to increase the cultivation of Zhao Liang and his wife. Zhao Liang and his 8th sister, Wang Daoshu, were about the same age as Wang Daoyuan. They were both Foundation Establishment cultivators and only had a lifespan of 240 years. Now, they were already around 220 years old and did not have much time left. Wang Daoyuan's expression turned solemn as he asked, I wonder if your highness wants Zhao Liang to return to the clan, or do you want to replace the Wang clan? Chapter 570. In the underworld sect's territory, the Wang clan only listened to orders and didn't listen to orders. The cultivators of Yannan County had both merits and demerits, so the underworld sect could only put it on the head of the administrator's residence. They couldn't bypass the administrator's residence and directly reward or punish them. The power of rewarding and punishing cultivators was the power of life and death. It was the most fundamental power of a ruler. If you didn't have this power, who would listen to you? The power of life and death in Yannan County was in the hands of Wang Daoyuan, not the underworld sect's sect master. When he wanted to deal with the three clans, the underworld sect had no right to stop him. They could only discuss it with Wang Daoyuan. Because of the Wang clan's strong backing, the underworld sect didn't even have the power to mobilize them. The Wang clan didn't listen to orders and only submitted to the underworld sect in name. The ninth prince didn't give anything to the Wang clan, but directly gave it to someone in the Wang clan. This was taking away Wang Daoyuan's power of life and death. When the Zhao clan revives, the Wang clan will no longer have any autonomy. They risked the extermination of their clan and followed the ninth prince to fight the three great sections. In the end, their interests would be seriously damaged. This was a losing and fatal business. Even a fool wouldn't do it. Shi Zhenbang was also a shrewd person. When he heard this, he knew that Wang Daoyuan thought the ninth prince wanted to seize power. He hurriedly explained, Dao, don't misunderstand. The ninth prince has no intention of interfering with the Wang clan's domestic affairs. The ninth prince and the first prince are close brothers and don't want the first prince to die. This is just a gift from the ninth prince as a granduncle to his grandnephew and granddaughter-in-law. He has no other intentions. Either Zhao Liang or one of Zhao Liang's descendants could be chosen to acknowledge their ancestors and ancestors. Even if it's immortal, it's fine as long as it can continue the first prince's bloodline. Of course, it's all up to Daoyu. Since it didn't affect the Wang clan's future status, it was easy to talk about. Wang Daoyuan smiled. It's good that you have such intentions. Unfortunately, the three great sects still rule Zhao. If we allow Zhao Liang or his descendants to acknowledge their ancestors, it would be no different from openly going against the three great sections. Let's wait for the Zhao clan to recover before we discuss this matter. With that said, he took out 50 golden lightning demon exterminating talismans and said, these talismans are enough to compensate for the dragon pearl chalcedony and yin-yang purple jade. Our Wang clan members don't need other people's spirit stones to raise their cultivation. If he took the dragon pearl chalcedony and yin-yang purple jade for free, it would be tantamount to admitting that the ninth prince had the right to kill the Wang family. In the future, after the Zhao clan reinstated the country, if someone used this matter to suppress the Wang clan, it would be hard for him to object. Shi Zhenbang didn't refuse. If he didn't accept these talismans, then it would mean that the ninth prince wanted to seize power, and the cooperation between the two families would be over. He took the golden lightning demon extermination talisman and smiled. I'll do as Daoyu said. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. Wang Daoyuan nodded and said, I won't see you out. Shi Zhenbang cupped his hands and left the Mirror Iron Mountain Market. Wang Daoyuan also put away the Dragon Pearl Chalcedony and yin-yang Purple Jade and left to return to the Jade Spring Peak. The ninth prince sent someone to say hello, which meant that the day of the battle was not far away. As long as the sixth prince had a trace of human intelligence, he wouldn't attack Yannan County first. Even if he was a complete idiot, Lord Linhai wasn't stupid and would naturally stop him. Therefore, there was no need to worry about the enemies in Linhai. The ninth prince's family wasn't stupid. If the sixth prince wasn't reliable, they wouldn't risk exposing themselves. At most, they would send a few masters who had nothing to do with the oasis to help. On the contrary, the Guiyuan sword sect in Shanbei needed to worry. These guys had pretended to be dead for more than 100 years. Who knew what they were up to? After the Zhao clan was defeated, the Golden Core masters fled. Even now, there was still a secret realm in the oasis, where at least 3 Golden Core cultivators were hiding. Were there no other golden core cultivators hiding in other places? Before the Zhao clan was destroyed, they had been running Shanbei for 1,000 years. At present, the 6th prince and the 9th prince had sent people to run Shanbei. They were so concerned about Shanbei that it couldn't be a joke. If Shanbei wanted to attack, the best choice was to cross Huiyan Mountain from the Guiyan Valley and the eastern area. They would directly attack the territory of Yannan County, and the administrator's mansion would have to fight. A big battle was imminent, and they had to be prepared as soon as possible. At least, they couldn't keep the existing Yin-Yang Purple Jade. When the battle started, the Zifu realm cultivators were the core forces. On the administrator's mansion's side, there were at most 8 Zifu realm cultivators, and Wang Daojian was lurking in the Shanbei branch. The others were only some flying warships. The Thunder Ape and Yun-Yi needed to guard Fallen Dragon Ridge and couldn't be moved easily. The only ones who were suitable to open up the Zifu realm in the Wang family were little uncle Wang Shoujia and Wang Mingshan. In addition, Zhao Liang and 8th sister were not good at fighting. However, after Zhao Liang and little uncle opened up the Zifu realm, the speed of refining flying warships would be much faster. This value was much higher than that of several Zifu realm cultivators who were good at fighting. Wang Mingshan was an alchemist. Even if his fighting strength was not good, he could still refine more pills. After returning to the Jade Spring Peak, Wang Daoyuan sent a message to Zhao Liang and 8th sister, asking them to come to the administration hall. Since the establishment of the Earth Fire Room, the focus of the Wang family's various industries had returned to the Jade Spring Peak. Zhao Liang and little uncle had been refining flying warships in the Earth Fire Room, and 8th sister naturally stayed in the Jade Spring Peak. The two soon arrived at the administration hall. Wang Daoyuan took out the Dragon Chalcedony and Yin-Yang Purple Jade and said to Zhao Liang, "The 9th prince sent someone to send these. They are for you and 8th sister to open up the Zifu realm." Hearing this, Wang Daochang and Wang Mingshan's expressions changed greatly. If Zhao Liang's identity was exposed, the Wang family would have to bear the risk of being punished by the underworld sect. Zhao Liang's expression also darkened. He hurriedly explained, "I'm no longer a member of the Zhao family. I can't accept things from the Zhao family." Wang Daoyuan waved his hand and said, "Don't worry. I used 50 high-grade Tier 3 Golden Lightning Demon Exterminating Talismans to exchange for these. They have nothing to do with the 9th prince. You're a mid-grade Tier 3 tool refiner, and 8th sister manages the various restaurants in the family. The two of you have contributed greatly. If you open up the Zifu realm, you can still serve the family for close to 300 years. This Dragon Chalcedony can allow your cultivation to quickly rise to the peak of foundation establishment. You still have 20 years, so the chances of you opening up the Zifu realm are not small. Put down your work and raise your cultivation first." Zhao Liang nodded. He took the Dragon Chalcedony and Yin-Yang Purple Jade and left the administration hall with 8th sister. Wang Daoyuan asked again, "How are little uncle and Mingshan's preparations?" The situation outside is constantly changing. The more Zifu realm the family has, the more power we have. Third brother Wang Daochang smiled and said, "The 12th uncle and I often give them pointers, but they still haven't comprehended the threshold of Zifu realm. I'm afraid they'll have to wait a few more days." Wang Daoyuan nodded and said, "In that case, let's wait a little longer. I'll go to Clear Glass City to deal with the administrator's estate." The upcoming war couldn't be fought by the Wang clan alone. All the clans in South Swallow County, as well as the rogue cultivators they recruited, had to participate. If they wanted to follow the administrator's estate wholeheartedly, they had to take out some good things to buy their hearts. Although the administrator's estate gave the clans some benefits, the foundation establishment pill that the clans cared about the most hadn't been given any rules. In these years, the Monster Execution Department had killed many Tier 3 monsters and accumulated many foundation establishment pills. Now they could set the exchange rules. As for the cultivators of the Monster Execution Department, they were all single men without any restraints. It would be difficult to subdue them. What they wanted the most was the Yin-Yang Purple Jade. The Wang clan didn't have enough for themselves, so it was impossible to give it to them. In addition to opening up the Zifu realm, the rogue cultivators wanted to establish a clan the most. This could be satisfied. After all, the administrator's estate had destroyed the Kong clan of Rubble Peak and the 3 clans of Return Wind Valley. They had obtained some spirit veins and mines, as well as many shops in the various markets that hadn't been rented out. Spirit veins, mines, and shops could all be promised. Those with permanent property had perseverance. With these properties, the rogue cultivators wouldn't be afraid of not being able to subdue them. Chapter 571. Wang Daoyuan went to the administrator's residence in Clear Glass Market and found his 5th granduncle and the vice hall master of the Treasury Hall, Wang Mingji, to announce the new policy. After the 2 of them arrived at the conference hall, he said, "Zhao State will soon be in turmoil again. I've already notified the clan, and the administrator's residence also needs to make preparations. Now, how many foundation building pills does the administrator's residence have?" Wang Mingji stood up and said, "In these past years, the cultivators of the Demon Execution Department have killed more than 123rd-ranked demonic beasts and obtained 110 demonic cores. These demonic cores were all refined into foundation-building pills by the Great Elder, and a total of 682 pills were produced. Half of them are in the clan, and the remaining 341 pills are under the administrator's residence's name." Wang Daoyuan nodded and said, "Within 3 months, take out 30 foundation-building pills for auction and calm the hearts of the clans. Mingji, you'll be in charge of this matter. In the future, you can auction 30 foundation-building pills every 60 years. This matter will also be handled by the Treasury Hall." Wang Mingji replied, "Yes, I'll go back and make preparations for the auction." Wang Daoyuan pondered for a moment and said, "In addition, I want to establish a contribution system. In the future, the cultivators under the administrator's residence will no longer be directly given spirit stones, but contribution points. Just like the clan's contribution points, 1 contribution point can be exchanged for 1 spirit stone. The rewards given to cultivators for their contributions will all be changed to contribution points. The cultivators of the administrator's residence can use contribution points to exchange for medicinal pills, talismans, magic tools, and formation discs. In addition, the spirit veins, mines, and shops under the administrator's residence can all be exchanged with contribution points. However, important materials like foundation-building pills need to have some restrictions and can't be casually exchanged for. In addition, spirit stones can also be exchanged for contribution points, but it requires 2 spirit stones to exchange for 1 contribution point. Those clans or cultivators who don't want to contribute to the administrator's residence and want to exchange for foundation-building pills will have to be prepared to suffer. The contribution system will be temporarily managed by the Treasury Hall. When there's a need to establish an organization in the future, the ownership will be determined again. Mingji, go and prepare these matters first. If you don't have enough people, you can take some from the clan's Treasury Hall." Wang Mingji nodded and left the conference hall. 5th great uncle asked, "You made so many important decisions all of a sudden. What happened?" Wang Daoyuan replied, "The 9th prince sent Shizhenbang to probe my background, to ask about the Zhao family's uprising and our Wang family's attitude. He also gave Zhao Liang and 8th sister the Dragon Pearl Chalcedony and Yin Yang Purple Jade to help them open up their Zifu." 5th great uncle pondered for a moment. "It seems that the Zhao family is going to take action soon. How did you reply?" "My reply is that the 6th prince is the leader. Our Wang clan will help the Netherworld sect. The 9th prince is the leader. As long as the difference in strength isn't too great, we'll help the 9th prince. I'm afraid that Zhao Liang's matter is just a test by the 9th prince to determine our Wang clan's future position. He gave Shizhenbang 53rd grade high-grade golden lightning demon exterminating talismans. Even if the 9th prince revives the country in the future, he can forget about touching our Wang clan's territory." 5th great uncle nodded. "You did the right thing. If you take advantage of the 9th prince, you may be in a very passive position in the future. What do you plan to do with the power of the governor's residence?" "The 6th prince's forces will most likely go upstream along the Wanchuan River. Their main targets will be the various markets on the Wanchuan River and the mountain gates of the three major sections. Yannan County is located in the wilderness, so there's no point in attacking us. The only thing we need to guard against is the Zhao family's power in Shanbei. The sixth prince is running the Beiyuan sword sect, and the ninth prince also has secret forces in Shanbei. Shanbei is definitely not as simple as it seems. There's most likely a golden core cultivator in the Zhao family. When the time comes, you just need to take some people to watch over Qingli Market. The family has the 12th uncle and Zhou Luan, so there won't be any problems. They won't dare to touch Guiyan Market, so I'll guard Jinyan City. As for the people of the Devil Execution Department, slowly reduce the number of times they attack. Send some of them to Jinyan City. That's all we can do. We'll just wait for the sixth prince to take action. Fifth great-uncle nodded in agreement. Wang Daoyuan handed over some other trivial matters and returned to Yuchuan Peak. In the cave abode at the bottom of the earth fire chamber, he continued to cultivate the secret technique and strengthen his purple mansion avatar. In the future battles, the real deciding factor was still him, the only golden core cultivator who could show up. A year later, Zhao Liang and eighth sister both reached the peak of foundation establishment. Previously, they were already at the 8th stage of foundation establishment. Wang Daoyuan also provided them with inky jade lotus seeds and other elixirs. Coupled with the effects of the dragon jade marrow, their cultivation improved at such a rapid speed. Now, there were 4 peak foundation establishment cultivators who had yet to comprehend the Purple Mansion realm. Wang Daoyuan didn't want to wait like this. When he used the secret technique to strengthen his Purple Mansion avatar, his entire head would emit a purple light, and the strengthening avatar would also appear. 4 cultivators who had yet to establish their Purple Mansion, this was an excellent opportunity to comprehend the Purple Mansion realm. He called the 4 of them to his cave abode outside. After the 4 of them arrived, Wang Daoyuan said, "Next, I'll use the secret technique to help you comprehend the Purple Mansion realm. Comprehend it well and don't miss this opportunity." Then he used the secret technique to nurture the Azure Dragon avatar with his life spirit fire. His entire head flickered with a dazzling purple light, and a 1-foot-long Azure Dragon avatar circled above his head. After half a year, the 4 of them had comprehended the Purple Mansion realm and were able to establish their Purple Mansion. Wang Daoyuan let out a sigh of relief and said, "Go and prepare. Adjust your state to the best and establish your Purple Mansion as soon as possible." The 4 of them left and prepared to establish their Purple Mansion. In the past 2 years, there hadn't been any changes in the Green Willow province. However, Zhou Luan's intelligence system found that the Guiyuan sword sect's vicinity was more lively. There were many cultivators entering the Guiyuan sword sect's mountain gate. There was also an obvious increase in the number of cultivators coming from the Linhai province to the west of the Sky Beheading Mountain range to do business. There were definitely people from the Sixth Prince's faction mixed in with these people. Since he had already decided to kill the Sixth Prince's faction, Wang Daoyuan naturally couldn't let them succeed. He directly reported the news to the Netherworld sect and asked them to take precautions. At the same time, he also asked them to provide support to Gold Gu City. A month later, Zhao Liang and the other 3 were ready to establish their Purple Mansion. Every time a cultivator broke through, the clan would send people to protect them. The clan's cultivation, pill refining, and tool refining would all be affected. Instead of troubling them 4 times, it was better to trouble them once. The 4 of them were ready to establish their Purple Mansion on the same day. The Jade Spring Mountain had 2 Golden Core Realm cultivators and 2 Purple Mansion Realm cultivators. Even if there was a problem, they would be able to remedy it in time. The Yin-Yang Purple Jade was already prepared, so establishing the embryonic form of the Purple Mansion wouldn't be a problem. However, he still had to pay attention to the inner demon tribulation. Little Uncle Wang Shouzhe, 8th sister, and Wang Mingshan hadn't experienced any major changes, so the inner demon tribulation wouldn't affect them too much. However, Zhao Liang's inner demon tribulation couldn't be avoided. Wang Daoyuan had no use for the imperial demon pendant refined by his master using the profound ice jade essence. Now, It was in Zhao Liang's hands to help him resist the inner demon tribulation. The four of them began to establish their purple mansion. Wang Daoyuan also sat cross-legged beside the jade dragon spring, intimidating everyone. 2 days later, 4 dazzling purple lights appeared one after another. 6 hours later, the purple light reached its peak. Then, 4 embryonic purple mansion appeared one after another. Among them, Zhao Liang's embryonic purple mansion was the smallest, with a diameter of only a little more than an inch. Eighth sister's embryonic purple mansion was slightly better, but it was less than 2 inches. Little uncle Wang Shouzhe was slightly stronger, with an embryonic purple mansion of 2 inches and 4 centimeters. The most talented one was Wang Mingshan, with an embryonic purple mansion of 3 inches and 2 centimeters. Around Wang Mingshan's embryonic purple mansion, a pure green spiritual energy appeared. Then, this spiritual energy turned into a green flood dragon, which should be a green flood dragon. Its appearance was good, similar to the green flood dragon that Wang Daoyuan killed. Chapter 572. Wang Mingshan was the great-grandson of Wang Daoyuan's elder brother. Back then, it was Wang Daoyuan who tested his spiritual root. He had 3 spiritual roots, and his main spiritual root was the 7.5-inch wood spiritual root. His talent was about the same as his 5th great-uncle's. It was uncertain whether he would be able to produce a violet palace anomaly. For example, his second brother, Wang Daoxing, was also a cultivator with 3 spiritual roots who had a 7-inch main spiritual root. However, there was no sign of the Purple Palace realm phenomenon. Who would have thought that Wang Mingshan's Violet Palace manifestation would be the jade-scaled flood dragon? In the Wang clan, the Purple Palace realm avatar of a quasi-divine beast was only inferior to Wang Daoyuan, Zhou Luan, and the 12th uncle. It was even stronger than 5th uncle's dragonfish avatar. Of course, his 27th brother, Wang Daojian's sword phenomenon was rather special. It was hard to say whether it was strong or weak. Since Wang Mingshan had this purple mansion anomaly, the probability of him forming his gold core in the future was not small. His talent was high enough, and he was also his great-nephew's grandson. Whether it was for public or private reasons, he should focus on nurturing him. The jade-scaled flood dragon quickly transformed into a flood dragon tattoo and condensed on Wang Mingshan's Zifu. Soon after, a gray mist figure appeared beside the embryonic form of the Violet Palace. As for the other 3, small gray mist figures appeared beside their embryonic Violet Palace realm embryonic forms. All that was left was the inner demon tribulation. Wang Mingshan's soul only stayed outside the Purple Mansion for a few dozen breaths before it entered the embryonic form of the Purple Mansion. Then, Wang Mingshan's Purple Palace hall descended, and he began to absorb spiritual energy. Jade Spring Peak had a water attribute spirit vein, so there wasn't much would attribute spirit energy. However, the Violet Palace realm had already been formed, and the breakthrough was complete. When it came to absorbing spiritual energy, it didn't matter how fast or slow it was. It wouldn't matter even if it took 10 days to half a month. Little uncles and 8th sisters' souls quickly entered their violet mansions. After successfully opening their violet mansions, they began to absorb spiritual qi. Only Zhao Liang's soul remained outside the embryonic form of the Violet Palace, unable to enter. When he was building his foundation, he was disturbed by the inner demon and had to rely on the profound ice jade essence to build his foundation. The Violet Mansion Heart Devil Tribulation was a trial of life and death for him. If it wasn't for the Imperial Magic Pendant, he might have already died. With the demon-resisting pendant, inner demons couldn't hurt him. However, to transcend the inner demon tribulation, he still needed to defeat his own inner demons. If he couldn't defeat his inner demon, then he would become a quasi-Violet Palace realm cultivator. During the Purple Mansion Heart Demon Tribulation, the heart demons were fully unleashed. Furthermore, he was suppressed to an extremely weak level by the magic-resisting pendant. This was the best opportunity for him to defeat his inner demons. Half a day passed. Wang Mingshan and the other 2 had stopped absorbing spiritual energy, and their cultivations had all reached the early stage of the Zifu realm. Little uncle and Wang Mingshan continued to stay in the cave to consolidate their cultivation, but eighth sister ran out. Previously, she already had the appearance of an old woman. Now that she had broken through, her lifespan had been extended by more than 200 years, turning her into a middle-aged woman. She came to the Jade Dragon Spring and asked Wang Daoyuan, "Seventh brother, how is Zhao Liang now?" Wang Daoyuan replied, "Inner demons are very serious, and the inner demon tribulation is a bit difficult to deal with." This was also a good thing. If the inner demon was completely suppressed by the demon-resisting pendant, then he wouldn't have the chance to get rid of it. Don't worry, his life is not in danger, and there is a high possibility that he can defeat his inner demon. Don't disturb him now, give him some time. Hearing this, eighth sister felt a little better. She knew that she couldn't help, so she didn't dare to go over. She could only stay by the Jade Dragon Spring anxiously. A day later, Zhao Liang's soul finally stood up and walked towards the fledgling stage of the Purple Mansion. A door appeared on the fledgling stage of the Purple Mansion, and the soul walked in. Eighth sister cried tears of joy. She didn't go over to disturb Zhao Liang, but returned to the cave to consolidate her cultivation. Wang Daoyuan also heaved a sigh of relief. The Wang family suddenly had 4 more Purple Mansion realm cultivators. Wang Mingshan also had a half-divine beast avatar and had the potential to form his core. Such a grand occasion had never happened even in the 3 major sections. Half a day later, Zhao Liang walked out of the cave. At this moment, he had also changed from an old man to a middle-aged man. After overcoming the inner demon tribulation, the inner demon would dissipate on its own, and his essence, energy, and spirit would be different. Next, the Purple Mansion Grand Ceremony and other matters would be handled by the clansmen. The grand occasion of the Wang family having 4 Purple Mansions in a day quickly spread throughout South Yen County. Wang Daoyuan didn't care about the outside matters anymore. After greeting them, he returned to the cave at the bottom of the earth fire chamber. After entering the cave, he saw Zhou Luan wearing a man's white robe. Her hair was tied up with a carefree scarf, and she didn't wear any makeup. She really looked like an elegant young master. When she saw Wang Daoyuan enter, she said in a man's voice, "Daoyu, greetings." Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, "What a handsome young master. Why did you dress up like this?" Zhou Luan had a smug look on her face. "There's movement in the north and Wanchuan market again. When you go out to fight the enemy, I can also go and help. No matter how I disguise myself, no one will be able to recognize me with this outfit. When I go out and meet a beauty, I'll seduce her first, so that you don't have to fool around." Wang Daoyuan had a look of admiration. "Not bad. You really know how to think for me. When the time comes, I'll bring the beauty back to Jade Spring Peak and we'll sleep together." Zhou Luan pinched the soft flesh on his waist a few times. "You're quite ambitious. You want to sleep together? How many beauties do you want to cover with your big quilt?" Wang Daoyuan hurriedly begged for mercy. "Hall Master, please spare my life. We can talk about the beauties later. Let's talk about the child's rice bowl first. It was originally quite big, but now it's flattened. Let go, I'll untie it for you. Don't strangle the child's rice bowl." Zhou Luan let go of her hand. Wang Daoyuan picked her up and walked towards the boudoir. At this moment, a jade talisman in the universe ring emitted spiritual energy fluctuations. Wang Daoyuan scolded, "What's wrong with this group of bastards? They've already discussed it, haven't they? Every time I'm doing business, they come to me. How many times has it been?" Zhou Luan smiled and said, "Look at you. There's still a long way to go. Let's deal with the business first." Wang Daoyuan put Zhou Luan down and took out the jade talisman. It was a message from the guardian of Guiyuan Market, Lu Yuan. It said that the sect master of Guiyuan Sword Sect, Li Qingyuan, wanted to see him. Wang Daoyuan said helplessly, "I'll go to the north of the mountain first. I'll come back after I kill Li Qingyuan. Wait at home." Then he left the cave residence with the white tiger blade and rode a cloud to Guiyuan Market. Entering the guardian's residence of Guiyuan Market, Lu Yuan was entertaining Li Qingyuan. Seeing him walk in, the two immediately bowed. Lu Yuan saw that his expression was unfriendly and that he was holding the white tiger blade in his hand. He didn't dare to say anything and sneaked out of the meeting hall. Li Qingyuan said, Li Qingyuan, the sect master of Beiyuan sword sect, greets Wang Daoyu. This bastard was at the late stage of the Zifu realm, but he dared to call a middle stage Aurus core cultivator Daoist. Even half-demons below the Aurus core level had to call him senior when they saw him. Where did this bastard get the courage to call him an equal? My plan was ruined by you, and I have nowhere to vent my anger. This bastard has hit the knife's edge. Wang Daoyuan said angrily, What? The Guiyuan sword sect has stayed in the north of the mountain for so long that you've forgotten the etiquette of the human race? Li Qingyuan looked unconvinced. I was ordered by His Majesty to come and talk to Daoyu. As an imperial envoy, I represent His Majesty's face. His Majesty is the ruler, and Daoyu is the subject. Could it be that Daoyu wants His Majesty to call you senior? Wang Daoyuan hurriedly waved his hand and said, Watch your mouth. My Wang clan can't have such a useless descendant. The Lai Emperor really has a good temper. He gave birth to such a useless thing, but he didn't kill him. Instead, he left him alive to destroy the Zhao clan's empire. If my Wang clan had such a descendant, even if he has a heavenly spiritual root and a spiritual body, I would cripple his cultivation and lock him up in the spiritual mountain. I wouldn't let him out for the rest of his life, so that he won't embarrass himself everywhere. Li Qingyuan heard this and slammed the table. Wang Daoyuan, do you have any respect for your seniors? How dare you insult His Majesty? Wang Daoyuan waved his hand and a gust of wind blew. Li Qingyuan flew back a few feet and hit the wall. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Wang Daoyuan pointed the white tiger blade at him and said coldly, Not to mention you, even if the Long Legs Prince was in front of me, I wouldn't take him seriously. Calling him the Long Legs Prince was giving face to the Lai Emperor. You're just a dog raised by the Long Legs Prince. Who do you think you are to call me by my name? If it weren't for the fact that the two countries are at war, you wouldn't have left this place alive. If you dare to be rude to me again, I'll kill you and then trample the Guiyuan sword sect. Chapter 573. Seeing that Wang Daoyuan was really angry, Li Qingyuan didn't dare to be arrogant anymore. He said honestly, Junior is under His Majesty's order to ask Senior to attack the underworld sect. After this is done, His Majesty will forgive the Wang family for defecting and confer Senior the title of Marquis Yuchuan. These words made Wang Daoyuan so angry that he was amused. The long-legged prince, this idiot, already thought of himself as the ruler of Zhao. Conferring Marquis Yuchuan meant that the Wang family would be like the Zhao family before they were defeated, guarding the territory east of Qingli River and north of Qingxi River. They wouldn't have the authority to govern Yannan County. Hearing this, he still felt that the Wang family was guilty when they were forced to surrender and wanted to punish them. The long-legged prince would only forgive the Wang family if they became the scapegoats for the Zhao family. This long-legged prince was at least 700 or 800 years old. These years were all in vain. He wanted to rope in the Wang family to work for him, but he wasn't even willing to draw a big pie. Anyone with a brain knew that to rope in other forces, they had to make all kinds of promises. Moreover, the promises had to be much bigger than the other party's current assets. Otherwise, who would be willing to work for you? The Wang family was now the ruler of a region, and their days were very comfortable. They had to follow the long-legged prince to attack the 3 major sections. Later, they had to reduce their fiefs and limit their power. No one would do such a stupid thing if they had nothing better to do. The long-legged prince probably hated him for giving him such a nickname and wanted to disgust him. What could a person who wanted to plot against a country accomplish with such a small amount of tolerance? Most importantly, the long-legged prince had many Jindan stage subordinates of the Zhao family. He gave such a stupid order, but no one dissuaded him. Did the long-legged prince's subordinates not dare to interfere, or did they not want to interfere? These people probably weren't of one mind with him. It would be strange if he could accomplish anything. Li Qingyuan saw that Wang Daoyuan's expression wasn't right. Afraid of being cut down, he hurriedly said, "These words weren't what I meant. They were all sent by His Majesty. I just repeated them as they were." Wang Daoyuan put away the white tiger blade and asked, If you have anything else to say, say it all. I don't want to kill you in a fit of anger. If that happens, I'll have to search your soul. When Li Qingyuan saw him put away the white tiger blade, he heaved a sigh of relief. Hearing his words, his heart was in suspense again. He hurriedly said, His Majesty asked you to take all your subordinates and wait in Golden Goose City. They joined forces with the forces of the Zhao family at the north of the mountain and attacked the underworld sect together. When attacking the mountain gate, the Wang family was the vanguard. If Senior agrees, after destroying the three sects, I will confer upon you the title of Marquis Yuchuan. If you don't agree, then after destroying the three sects, we can attack the Wang family. That's all His Majesty's orders. I don't know anything else. Wang Daoyuan originally wanted to capture him and refine him into a clone, but he still wanted him to send a message back. There might be some old monster hiding in the Guiyuan sword sect. If he refined it into a clone and released it back, there was a risk that it would be exposed. There wasn't much point in killing a late-stage Zifu disciple. It was best to let him bring the message back. Li Qingyuan looked at him with an ominous expression and said, Senior, this is His Majesty's original words, not mine. Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, I didn't say I wanted to kill you. I want you to send a message to whoever commands the north of the mountain. 2,000 miles west of Golden Goose City, all the way to the sky-beheading mountain range in the east, is my territory. If you want to attack the mountain gate of the underworld sect, I don't care. But if you enter my territory, I don't mind killing a few Jindan stage cultivators for fun. That's all I have to say. Get out of here. Li Qingyuan hurriedly left the guardian residence. Wang Daoyuan said a few words to Lu Yuan, then left the Guiyan market and went to Golden Goose City. This was the front line against the enemy. Its importance was self-evident. The guardian residence of Golden Goose City was Shen Zhaoxing of the Shen family. Wang Daoyuan still had some things to tell him. When he arrived at the guardian residence of Golden Goose City, Shen Zhaoxing immediately came out to greet him. Wang Daoyuan asked, How many cultivators are guarding Golden Goose City now? Shen Zhaoxing replied, Now there are more than 50 foundation establishment cultivators and more than 200 qi refining cultivators. Are there enough bows and crossbows and spirit stones reserves to defend the city? Every year, the Jade Spring Peak sends a few demon-exterminating crossbows of the 3rd grade and more than a dozen demon-exterminating crossbows of the 2nd grade. There are 40 demon-exterminating crossbows of the 3rd grade and 200 demon-exterminating crossbows of the 2nd grade on the city wall. There are still 100 demon-exterminating crossbows of the 3rd grade and 500 demon-exterminating crossbows of the 2nd grade in the warehouse. There are 20,000 spirit stones of the middle grade, which is enough. In addition, there are 50 spirit stones of the upper grade. Once a Jindan stage cultivator takes action, they can also open the 4th grade defender formation. It won't be a problem to hold on for 4 to 6 hours. Wang Daoyuan nodded. Shanbei may take action. You order all the cultivators to be vigilant. Once someone comes to attack, send me a message. The Jade Spring Peak will only need 3 hours to come to support. Now Shen Zhaoxing was relieved. What he was most afraid of was being left here as a scapegoat. If the Wang family wasn't afraid of reinforcements, he wouldn't be able to support himself no matter how many resources he had. After Wang Daoyuan gave him a reassuring pill, he returned to the Jade Spring Peak. He sent a message to his 5th granduncle, asking him to transfer all the flying warships to the Jade Spring Peak. Once something happened in the Golden Goose City, they would immediately rush over to support. He also sent a message to Luo Jiuyo, telling them about the long-legged prince trying to rope him in. Since he was going to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight, he naturally had to let both sides be fully prepared to fight more fiercely. After handing over the matter, Wang Daoyuan returned to the cave at the bottom of the earth fire room. Zhou Luan was still dressed in men's clothes, practicing the divine heaven-burning technique in the earth fire room. Seeing Wang Daoyuan come in, she put away the Bai Feng's shadow. Wang Daoyuan asked, Why are you practicing the divine heaven-burning technique? This thing can't borrow the Scarlet Luan's charm. Its power is far inferior to your Scarlet Luan divine fire technique. She stood up and said, Isn't it to help you? If there are too many opponents and you can't handle them, won't I have to take action? My natal magic tool and the Scarlet Luan divine fire technique can't be used, otherwise it'll be troublesome if I'm recognized. Wang Daoyuan said with a smile. Hall Master also has times when he's muddle-headed. It's not a big problem to take action openly. I'll pay 5 million spirit stones to ask Blood Shadow to kill one of the long-legged prince's golden core cultivators. Taking action in the Golden Goose City has nothing to do with the Wang family, and Blood Shadow can't find fault with it. Even if they have some doubts, they won't send a few golden core cultivators to look for trouble if they can't get any evidence. Zhou Luan thought for a moment and nodded. This method can work, but there's no need to expose it directly. I'll use black magic robe to hide first, and if there's a chance, I'll sneak attack and kill a golden core cultivator. If there's no chance, I'll use the heaven-burning divine fire technique to help you stall one of them. Unless it's absolutely necessary, I won't use the Zhou family's inheritance. When will the administrator give me the 5 million spirit stones? Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, I'm so poor right now. Can I use myself to pay off the debt? If it's okay, I can pay the deposit right now. It'll also solve the problem of my child's rice bowl. Zhou Luan didn't have any intention of refusing. Wang Daoyuan immediately picked her up and walked towards her boudoir. Half a month later, Zhou Luan's Hall Master command tablet fluctuated. She took the command tablet, examined it, and said, a large number of foundation-building cultivators have gathered in the 10,000 Rivers Market Square and the 3 River Market Square. The Guiyuan Sword sect has already begun to openly gather cultivators. Wang Daoyuan immediately got up and put on his clothes. It seems the war has begun. Are there any movements in the markets under the administrator's office and in the Green Willow province? Zhou Luan replied, there's no movement. It seems the Green Willow province doesn't plan to get involved. You go to the Golden Goose City first and leave the black magic robe to me. I'll go there after I dress up as a man. Wang Daoyuan was just about to tease her when he suddenly received a message from Shun Zhaoxing asking for help. A large number of unidentified cultivators appeared outside the Golden Goose City. He had already activated the defensive formation. Now, there were also a small number of foundation-building cultivators causing trouble in the city, and he was dispatching cultivators to suppress them. Chapter 574. Wang Daoyuan was not in the mood to tease Zhou Luan anymore. Jinyan City has already started, I'll go there now. Zhou Luan said, Guiyuan Sword sect dares to attack Jinyan City. There must be more than one Jindan stage cultivator. You must be careful, don't fall into their ambush. Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, don't worry, I have a lot of means. 3 Jindan stage cultivators can't stop me. With that, he left Yuchuan Peak and headed northwest. While on the way, he did not stay idle. First, he sent a message to his 5th granduncle, asking him to activate the defensive formation of each market. Then he sent a message to Luo Juyo, telling him that the remnants of the Zhao family had started to attack. In front of the Zhao family, the 3 major sects were grasshoppers on the same rope. At this time, they should be able to unite. Telling Luo Juyo was also telling the 3 major sections. The 3 major sects were prepared. No matter where the main force of the Zhao family attacked from the Wan River, it would be a tough nut to crack. It was really hard to say how many Jindan stage cultivators there were in Jinyan City. It was not suitable for the doppelganger to appear in public. Let him continue to stare at the group of refined corpses. If he really couldn't resist, he would release the red-feathered crow. Although the red-feathered crow's cultivation was lower than his, when he crossed the bloodline heavenly tribulation, his bloodline was purified and his natal true fire became extremely strong. His fighting strength was not necessarily worse than his. Now that he exposed the red-feathered crow, there was an explanation. For example, the red-feathered crow that he subdued during his travels in the Tianzhan mountain range must have lived for thousands of years to cultivate to the 4th level low-grade. Unless Wang Daoyuan himself admitted that he got the red-feathered crow from the 100 Spirits Immortal's cave. Otherwise, no one could find evidence. Of course, it was best not to expose it. Don't be afraid of thieves stealing, but be afraid of thieves thinking about it. When he reached a place 1,000 miles east of Jinyan City, Wang Daoyuan no longer rode the cloud in a high-profile manner, but found a place to hide. Then he released the soul-chasing bees to investigate the situation near Jinyan City. Wang Daoyuan didn't dare to rashly approach the Zhao family because of their abnormal behavior. Their main target should be the Underworld Sex Mountain Gate. The best way to attack the Underworld Sex Mountain Gate was to scatter the cultivators, sneak into the vicinity of the Underworld Sex Mountain Gate, and then find an opportunity to launch a sneak attack. However, not only did they not do so, they even came to recruit him in advance. This was a leak of information, which was extremely disadvantageous for a sneak attack. Moreover, it was meaningless for them to attack the Golden Goose City. Taking down the Golden Goose City would not cause any loss to the three major sections. Instead, he would waste precious time and lose the surprise of his sneak attack. There was definitely something fishy going on. There were no benefits, but they still chose to do this. It was very likely that they had other plans. In Golden Goose City, the only ones worthy of their plot were himself and the practitioners of the administrator's mansion. With this speculation, Wang Daoyuan did not dare to act rashly. It was better to release the soul-chasing bees to scout the enemy. The king of the soul-chasing bees was already a third-rank middle-grade spirit insect, but ordinary soul-chasing bees still couldn't break through the third rank, and they also had a grade differentiation. Most of the soul-chasing bees stayed at the second-rank middle grade, and only about 200 soul-chasing bees grew to the second-rank superior grade. The total number of ordinary soul-chasing bees had exceeded 20,000. Although the spiritual plants in the space of the spiritual pearl did not increase much, the concentration of spiritual qi was much higher. After the soul-chasing bees reached the second rank, they could not eat anything and only rely on spiritual qi to maintain their lives, but their cultivation speed was extremely slow. The second-rank middle-grade soul-chasing bees could fly at a speed of more than 4,000 miles per hour, which was faster than ordinary Zifu realm cultivators. The soul-chasing bees' talent was extreme speed, which could increase their flying speed to more than 6,000 miles per hour in a short period of time. Almost no Zifu realm cultivators could surpass this speed. In actual combat, their combat power was not too strong. The second-rank middle-grade soul-chasing bees were not as good as a first-level foundation establishment cultivator. However, the strength of the spirit insects was never in a one-on-one fight, but in a group fight. Wang Daoyuan had more than 20,000 second-rank middle-grade soul-chasing bees. Even if 50 soul-chasing bees were exchanged for one foundation establishment cultivator, it was still enough to exchange for more than 400 foundation establishment cultivators. Moreover, the bees were not randomly attacking. Wang Daoyuan could control the bees through the king. Although he could not control them in real time, he could still grasp their general movements. The third-rank middle-grade soul-chasing bees' divine sense was not weak, but it could not command more than 20,000 soul-chasing bees at the same time. The 200 or so stage 2 high-grade soul-chasing bees would be of use. Let them each lead 100 stage 2 mid-grade soul-chasing bees. The Wasp King only needed to command 200 stage 2 high-grade soul-chasing bees. Wang Daoyuan wanted to compete with them in patience, and let the soul-chasing bees slaughter the foundation establishment cultivators wantonly. It took more than 100 years to cultivate a late-stage foundation establishment cultivator, but Wang Daoyuan's soul-chasing bees only needed a few days to cultivate. If he continued to waste time, let's see who would be distressed. He also sent a message to Zhou Luan, asking her to secretly search for the Zhao family's Jindan stage cultivators. After that, he sent a message to his fifth granduncle, asking him not to rush to send out the flying warship. In the Golden Goose City, Shen Zhaoxing was guarding the core of the formation and did not dare to show his head, for fear of being decapitated by the enemy who sneaked into the city. Half of the foundation establishment cultivators in the city were on the city wall to defend against the enemy, and the other half were cleaning up the troublesome cultivators in the city. As a fortress, the Golden Goose City had two sets of defensive formations. One was a third-rank defensive formation connected to the spiritual vein, and the other was a 4th-rank low-grade formation activated by high-grade spirit stones. There were also a large number of 2nd-rank and 3rd-rank demon-destroying crossbows on the city wall. If a Qi refinement cultivator were to attack such a fortress, they would only be sending themselves to their deaths. Above the Golden Goose City, there were more than 100 foundation establishment cultivators making tentative attacks. Their intention was not to break through the Golden Goose City, but to use the Golden Goose City to attract the cultivators of the administrator's mansion. These people flew in the air on their swords, and it was difficult for the 2nd-rank superior-grade demon-destroying crossbows of the Golden Goose City to attack them. The 3rd-rank demon-destroying crossbows were too few and could not be used easily. They did not suffer any substantial threat, and they were still talking and laughing when attacking the formation. More than 20,000 soul-chasing bees were divided into more than 200 teams, scattered, and soon arrived near the Golden Goose City. The soul-chasing bees' flying movement was not big, and these enemies were attacking the formation, so the movement was not small. The soul-chasing bees flew 200 to 300 feet east of the Golden Goose City, and this group of foundation establishment cultivators found the clue. This distance was nothing for the soul-chasing bees, and they used their innate spells one after another, and in the blink of an eye, they arrived in front of the foundation establishment cultivators. More than a dozen foundation establishment cultivators who were closer did not have time to react and were directly killed. The cultivators who were a little farther away quickly used spells or talismans to protect themselves. However, there were still 30 to 40 foundation establishment cultivators who were injured, either lightly or seriously. As soon as the two sides met, nearly half of these foundation establishment cultivators were killed or injured. Only 100 soul-chasing bees died. Compared to the total number of more than 20,000, this loss was negligible. This group of cultivators was not mentally prepared at all and was attacked. Facing the soul-chasing bees that filled the sky, they did not dare to fight again and quickly fled to the north on their swords. Unfortunately, their speed could not be compared with the soul-chasing bees at all. Wang Daoyuan ordered these soul-chasing bees to chase and kill. In order to reduce the losses of the swarm, he ordered 20 teams of soul-chasing bees to besiege a cultivator. In this way, the cultivators who were not attacked were focused on escaping. Those cultivators who were attacked had to deal with more than 2,000 soul-chasing bees by themselves. At the back of the cultivator team was an old 9th-level foundation establishment cultivator. In the previous attack, he was bitten by 5 or 6 soul-chasing bees. The soul-chasing bee's venom was not strong and could not directly poison him to death, but it made his whole body numb and his spiritual power unable to circulate smoothly. After being poisoned, it was impossible to rely on his spiritual power to defend himself, so he stuck 3 2nd-rank high-grade golden armor talismans on his body. His spiritual power could not circulate smoothly, and his speed was less than 2,000 miles in 2 hours, which was incomparable to the soul-chasing bees. Soon, more than 2,000 soul-chasing bees surrounded him. The 3 layers of golden armor did not even last for a breath of time, and after a scream, the old cultivator fell to the ground. This kind of situation continued to play out. The uninjured cultivators could still delay for a few breaths by dodging, but the injured cultivators were almost instantly killed. If this continued, in less than half a cup of tea's time, this group of people would all be taken down. Chapter 575. After 100 breaths of time, all the injured foundation establishment cultivators were killed by the soul-chasing bees. The uninjured cultivators tried their best to fly on their swords. Their speed was slightly faster, so only a few died. Wang Daoyuan intended to kill all the foundation establishment cultivators, but things did not go as he wished. 2 3rd-rank low-grade flying warships rushed out of the forest on both sides of the Guiyan Valley. The offensive magic weapons on the flying warships immediately launched attacks on the soul-chasing bees. After a few breaths of time, the soul-chasing bees lost more than 1,000. Wang Daoyuan ordered the swarm to withdraw to the Golden Goose City through the Wasp King. The flying warships had defensive magic weapons. The soul-chasing bees' single attack power was too weak to break through the defense. Even if it was a group of third-rank low-grade soul-chasing bees, it was difficult to deal with a flying warship of the same rank. What's more, Wang Daoyuan's soul-chasing bees were only second-rank high-grade middle-grade. The third-rank low-grade flying warship's speed was not as fast as the soul-chasing bees' normal speed. If the soul-chasing bees wanted to escape, they could not catch up. The swarm of bees came near the Golden Goose City, and soon the flying warships followed. As soon as they approached the Golden Goose City, the third-rank demon extermination crossbows on the city wall were immediately launched. The two flying warships became the target of 20 crossbow arrows. The crossbow arrows used by the demon extermination crossbows were third-rank low-grade magic weapons, which were 10 feet long. After being hit by this crossbow arrow, the early-stage Zifu realm cultivator would be seriously injured if not killed. The flying warship's defense was relatively strong, but they did not dare to take the crossbow arrows head-on. Under the control of the cultivators on the ship, they avoided the crossbow arrows. After all, the flying warships were more than 10 feet long, and were not flexible enough to completely avoid the crossbow arrows. A few crossbow arrows hit the warships, and the defensive formation light shield on the warships flickered. The flying warships immediately retreated to the north, retreating out of the attack range of the third-rank demon extermination crossbows. In this confrontation, the long-legged prince's subordinates lost more than 60 foundation establishment cultivators, and Wang Daoyuan lost more than 1,000 second-rank middle-grade soul-chasing bees. In general, Wang Daoyuan gained a little advantage. The long-legged prince's subordinates did not retreat or attack. They just stayed more than 20 miles north of the Golden Goose City. Wang Daoyuan also knew what they meant. They were waiting for the spiritual power of the Golden Goose City's rank 4 defensive formation to be exhausted. Then, the Jindan stage cultivators would attack the Golden Goose City and lure him into action. If he didn't care, his subordinates in the city wouldn't be able to survive. If he abandoned his subordinates, his prestige would be gone. Shen Zhaoxing had 50 high-grade spirit stones in his possession, which was enough to sustain a Tier 4 defensive array formation for 4 to 6 hours. Less than 2 hours had passed since the formation was activated. The upper-grade spirit stones were probably enough to last for 4 hours, so Wang Daoyuan was not afraid of wasting time with them. He was also waiting for Zhou Luan to find the hiding place of the Zhao clan's golden core cultivator. An hour later, he received a message from Zhou Luan. She had found the hiding place of the Zhao family's golden core cultivator. Wang Daoyuan also sent a message to her, asking her to come over. After a while, Zhou Luan came to his hiding place. Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, "Thank you for your hard work, Hall Master. How is the investigation going?" Zhou Luan said with a proud look, "When this Hall Master makes a move, naturally it will be successful. There are 3 Jindan stage cultivators lying in ambush near the Golden Goose City. One is 300 miles east of the Golden Goose City, one is 200 miles west, and the other is more than 100 miles northeast of the Golden Goose City. Among the 3 Jindan stage cultivators, 2 are water attribute cultivators and 1 is fire attribute cultivator. The water attribute cultivators of the Zhao clan all have the Gui water divine thunder, which is not easy to deal with. However, the Zhao clan does not have a powerful fire attribute inheritance, so the fighting strength of this fire attribute cultivator should not be too strong. Moreover, the spiritual power fluctuations of this fire attribute cultivator are weaker than the other 2. You have the Suzuka fan, which can restrain fire attribute cultivators. We can first kill this fire attribute Jindan stage cultivator. After that, the 2 of us can fight against 2 late Jindan stage cultivators. Even if we are not their opponents, it is not a problem for us to retreat." Wang Daoyuan shook his head and said, "You'd better not expose yourself so easily. Give me the black magic robe, and I will sneak attack the fire attribute cultivator." Zhou Luan was a little worried. "Can you do it alone?" Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, "Don't you know whether I can do it or not?" Zhou Luan spat. "You are going to fight the enemy before the battle, yet you are still so frivolous. I will use a secret concealment technique and follow behind you. If you fail, then I will make a move." After saying that, she took off the black magic robe and gave it to Wang Daoyuan. Wang Daoyuan put on the black magic robe and went west. The fire attribute cultivator was hiding 300 miles east of the Golden Goose City, which was more than 700 miles west of Wang Daoyuan. Wang Daoyuan used the divine walking technique and went west. After half a cup of tea's time, Wang Daoyuan came to the hiding place of the fire attribute cultivator. Zhou Luan had already told him the specific location, so he found the fire attribute cultivator without much effort. This person was hiding in the hollow of a withered tree, trying to hide his aura. Moreover, his concealment methods were rather brilliant. Only when Wang Road was only a dozen or so miles away from him did he discover his tracks. Wang Daoyuan was wearing the black magic robe and using a very clever concealment technique. This concealment technique was called the devil concealment art, which was an inheritance of the soul-devouring demon lineage. It could not only avoid the detection of spiritual sense, but also be invisible to the naked eye. Wang Daoyuan improved it and made it suitable for human cultivators to cultivate. Now, this concealment technique was not perfect. Without the black magic robe, it could not hide from Jindan stage cultivators. Soon, Wang Daoyuan came to 5 miles east of the fire attribute cultivator and did not dare to get closer. After all, the target was a member of the Zhao family, and their inheritance was also very clever. Who knew if he had any spells that could see through the devil concealment art? For Jindan stage cultivators, this distance was not much different from face to face, so there was no need to take the risk to get closer. Wang Daoyuan merged the 5 natal magic artifacts in his dantian into the 5 elements devil suppression seal. Then he activated the seal with all his strength and smashed it towards the fire attribute cultivator. As soon as the 5 elements devil suppression seal left his body, it emitted intense spiritual power fluctuations. No matter how slow the fire attribute cultivator was, he could still sense it. He no longer hid and immediately jumped out of the hollow of the withered tree. This person was wearing a fiery red robe and looked young. He should not be a veteran Jindan from 500 years ago. He wanted to use an escape technique to escape, but the 5 elements devil suppression seal was not to be trifled with. Although it was not very fast, it had a suppressive force that could suppress the target's escape technique. The red-robed cultivator had no choice but to summon his natal magic artifact to withstand the attack. His natal magic artifact was a fiery red sword with a flaming flood dragon on it. A purple light flickered between his brows and a dragon roar could be heard. Wang Daoyuan also used his purple mansion resonance secret technique, and a purple light flickered between his brows. Who could compete with him in terms of purple mansion resonance? The 5 elements divine beast phenomenon was rare in the world to begin with, and Wang Daoyuan had even used a secret technique to strengthen it for a few years. The seal and the fiery red sword clashed, and there was an intense fire attribute spiritual power fluctuation on the sword. The flood dragon on the sword seemed to have come alive, emitting an intense dragon aura. The 5 elements divine beast charm was released from the 5 elements devil suppression seal, and the fiery red sword's aura disappeared immediately. The red-robed cultivator was ambushed and could not unleash his full strength in a hasty battle. Now that his natal magic artifact was suppressed, his face turned pale and his eyes were filled with fear. The natal magic artifact lasted for more than a breath before the fiery red sword was repelled. The 5 elements devil suppression seal continued smashing towards the red-robed cultivator. He received the slightly damaged sword and injected all his spirit energy into it, using his ultimate move to withstand the attack. The sword burned with raging flames as the red-robed cultivator wielded it with both hands, slashing towards the 5 elements devil suppression seal. With a cracking sound, the fiery red sword broke into 2. The red-robed cultivator suffered a backlash and spat out a mouthful of blood. Thereafter, the fiend's suppression seal smashed heavily onto his body. Instantly, a blue light barrier appeared around the red-robed cultivator. The light barrier only lasted for half a breath before shattering, but it also weakened the power of the fiend's suppression seal. Eventually, the fiend's suppression seal smashed onto his chest, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood before fainting. Wang Daoyuan was overjoyed. Initially, he wanted to kill the red-robed cultivator, but he did not expect to capture him alive. A living person was more valuable than a dead one, and it was easier to bargain with a hostage. Chapter 576. Wang Daoyuan wanted the long-legged prince's cultivators to fight with the three major sections. He did not want to fight with the Zhao family's Jindan cultivators. Given the prince's idiotic character, if he had killed a few gold core cultivators, he might have let go of the three major sects and come after him with all his might. Now that he had a hostage, he could discuss with the other two Jindan cultivators to stop fighting and get some benefits. Of course, the red-robed cultivator who was seriously injured and unconscious had to be dealt with. It was not safe to keep a late-stage Jindan cultivator by his side. Wang Daoyuan took out the meteorite fire controlling gourd, drew out a strand of red phoenix nirvana fire and injected it into the red-robed cultivator's meridians. When the rootless fire came into contact with the spiritual power in his body, it immediately burned. The red-robed cultivator was still in a coma, but his face was still in pain. Wang Daoyuan did not want to burn him to death, so he immediately suppressed the flame, only consuming the fire attribute spiritual power and not hurting his body. He was in a coma and could not control his spiritual power, so he had no power to resist. Soon, the spiritual power in his meridians was burned clean. The flame gathered in his dantian, burning away all the spiritual power in his dantian, leaving only a golden core. Now he could not use any spells. Even if he extracted spiritual power from his golden core, it would be burned by the flame in an instant. Wang Daoyuan pressed the 5 elements subduing devil seal on his dantian to prevent him from exploding his golden core. The power of an early-stage Jindan cultivator's golden core explosion was enough to seriously injure him. Not to mention that this red-robed cultivator was at the late-stage Jindan cultivator. If he exploded his golden core at such a close distance, it was very likely to send him away. Although the two of them fought for a short time, the commotion was not small. The other two Zhao family cultivators had already been alarmed. After dozens of breaths, the Jindan cultivators who were lying in ambush in the north of Jinyan City rushed over. This guy did not have a good temper. Before he arrived, the Gui Water Divine Thunder arrived first. A water-blue spiritual chi ball with a diameter of about 3 inches appeared more than 100 miles away in the northwest direction and quickly flew towards Wang Daoyuan. This small spiritual chi ball contained a majestic spiritual power. Who did not know the prestige of the Gui Water Divine Thunder? The Zhao clan relied on the blooming Water Divine Thunder to trample the Song and Wei kingdoms on the ground for thousands of years. Wang Daoyuan separated the white tiger blade from the 5 elements devil suppression seal and used the sword shadow divine light technique. 3 sword shadows flew out to meet the blooming water divine thunder. The sword shadows and the blooming water divine thunder collided more than 50 miles away from Wang Daoyuan. The blooming water divine thunder was shattered, and the 3 sword shadows were not spared. The aftermath of the explosion swept out. If there was a Zifu disciple within the area of the shockwaves, that Zifu disciple would probably be dead by now. Wang Daoyuan separated the black tortoise shield from the 5 elemental demon-slaying seal to block the aftermath of the explosion. He wasn't afraid of the aftermath of the explosion, but the hostage couldn't withstand it. Then he replenished the 3 sword shadows that he had lost. The might of this blooming water divine thunder was even slightly stronger than the full force attack of his white tiger blade. The blooming water divine thunder could be used consecutively, and its casting speed was far superior to ordinary spells. If he continued to use the sword shadow to compete with the 10th water divine thunder, Wang Daoyuan really could not take advantage of it. A loud shout rang out, "Wang clan's brat, quickly release Ling Yan." This person was called Ling Yan, and should be from the Zhao clan as well. He was of the same generation as the long-legged prince. Wang Daoyuan laughed, "Dao, you better be careful. Zhao Ling Yan is unconscious, and the spiritual energy in his body has been sucked dry by me. He has no power to resist at all. The Zhao clan's blooming water divine thunder is extremely powerful, so don't hurt your own clan. Also, I left some tricks in his body. If I die, his golden core will immediately shatter." A cultivator wearing a blue robe appeared 100 miles away and snorted, "Despicable person, what do you want for you to let Ling Yun go?" Wang Daoyuan questioned, "I want to ask you, what do I want for you to not cause trouble for me?" The blue-robed cultivator sneered, "You were disrespectful to His Majesty. His Majesty gave you a chance to redeem yourself, but you didn't cherish it. Instead, you disobeyed His Majesty's orders. We are here to punish the rebels. If you want to live, bring your subordinates and attack the underworld sect. If you make a great contribution, His Majesty is benevolent and might even give you some rewards." This guy's hair and beard were all white, and he looked like he didn't have much time left. However, there was still an arrogant look on his face. He should be an older golden core cultivator who was still immersed in the beautiful dream of the Zhao clan's glory days and didn't know that the world had changed. Wang Daoyuan said in disdain, "I'll kill all 3 of you golden cores, and then flatten the Guiyuan sword sect. After that, I'll bring my subordinates to the south and block the 10,000 Rivers Valley. If the reinforcements from Linhai Prefecture can't come, the long-legged prince will be trapped. He thinks that I'm guilty. As long as I can kill him, won't I be innocent? I wake up. Times have changed. The Zhao clan has already been gone for 500 years. The blue-robed cultivator's face was filled with anger as he shouted, "Rebel, how dare you say such disrespectful words?" With that, he began to gather the blooming water divine thunder in his hands. Wang Daoyuan's 10 sword shadows were also ready to attack this old guy at any time. Another cultivator flew over from the west and shouted, "Little friend Wang, second brother, please wait." This person was wearing a white robe, and his hair and beard were all white. However, he had a long beard and a kind face. He immediately stood in front of the blue-robed cultivator and said, "Second brother, please calm down. Don't hurt Ling Yun." Then he said to Wang Daoyuan, "Little friend Wang, in the past, Yuchuan Daoyu and I fought side by side. Even though hundreds of years have passed, there's no need to fight with weapons." Wang Daoyuan sneered, "The Wang clan doesn't owe the Zhao clan anything, but we don't want to be enemies with the Zhao clan either. I don't care about the long-legged prince, but you want to attack the Wang clan. You're the ones looking for trouble. I'm just guarding the territory." The blue-robed cultivator wanted to attack again, but the long-bearded cultivator stopped him and smiled. "Little friend, you've misunderstood. We just want to fight side by side with the Wang clan again and wipe out the rebels. The Wang clan can also restore the glory of Yuchuan Daoyu." Wang Daoyuan said with disdain, "Sorry, the Wang clan is even more glorious now than when our ancestor was alive. Even if the Zhao clan revives the dynasty, the Wang clan won't benefit at all. Instead, the long-legged prince will bear a grudge against us. Who would risk their lives for such a losing deal? Don't look down on the 2 of you. I can call a few helpers over at any time. Killing the 2 of you won't be a problem." The blue-robed cultivator roared, "Arrogant brat. Cut the crap. I've already sent a message to my master, Perfected Lei Yen. He'll be here in a few days." With his half-step Yuanian cultivation, killing 8 or 10 golden core cultivators of the Zhao clan shouldn't be a problem. I wonder how many golden core cultivators the Zhao clan has left. Is it enough for him to stretch his muscles? Hearing the name of Perfected Lei Yen, the blue-robed cultivator calmed down. Perfected Lei Yen was famous for being protective of his disciples. He once had a disciple who died in the southern wasteland. He personally went to the southern wasteland to kill several golden core cultivators. This matter was widely spread in the entire Beiyuan Xiuxian. Naturally, the Zhao clan also heard about it. If they killed his disciple, how many golden core cultivators of the Zhao clan would have to die to appease his anger? The long-bearded cultivator quickly smiled and said, "We've offended you this time. Please forgive us, little friend. I wonder how little friend can let Ling Yan go." Ling Yan's father and your ancestor are friends. Please don't hurt the friendship between the 2 clans. Wang Daoyuan replied, "As long as the Zhao clan doesn't enter my territory, I won't care what you do. If you break into my territory again, don't blame me for not caring about the friendship and killing a few golden core cultivators of the Zhao clan. Also, I've lost more than 1,000 rank 2 mid-grade soul-chasing bees this time. The Golden Geese City's losses aren't small either. Also, this Golden Core late-stage cultivator can't be redeemed with spirit stones, right? The blue-robed cultivator took out a storage bag. I can make the decision on this matter. We'll immediately withdraw from the Wang clan's territory. There are 500 high-grade spirit stones in this storage bag. Consider it our compensation. There's also a map inside. It records a few veins within the sky-beheading mountain range. I know a little about the Wang clan's situation. What they lack the most is refining materials. To the Wang clan, this vein map is more important than anything else. What do you think, little friend? Chapter 577. 500 superior-grade spirit stones were equivalent to 5 million low-grade spirit stones. For an average person to nurture more than 1,000 second-rank medium-grade soul-chasing bees, the honey consumed would be worth at least 2 to 3 million spirit stones. If the time cost to nurture the queen bee was considered, 5 million was more than enough. But to Wang Daoyuan, this loss was nothing. The queen bee could lay thousands of eggs a day. The queen bee was already third-rank medium-grade, and the newly hatched bees had the strength of second-rank low-grade. As long as they ate honey for more than half a year, the hatchlings would only need more than a year to mature, and their cultivation would also reach second-rank medium-grade. With the time acceleration of more than 40 times in the space of the spiritual pearl, it would only take a few days to nurture a batch. It could be said that Wang Daoyuan only paid some honey for these 1,000 soul-chasing bees. In exchange for 5 million spirit stones, it was naturally a profit. This mineral vein map made Wang Daoyuan feel very uncomfortable. Except it was a pity that he didn't get a precious spiritual item. It wasn't easy to kidnap someone, and he even kidnapped a late-stage golden core. It was a loss for him not to get anything good. If he didn't accept it, the family especially needed mineral veins. Wang Daoyuan wanted to extort more, but he was afraid of angering the blue-robed cultivator. At that time, he would have to expose Zhou Luan's identity, and there would be a lot of trouble in the future. After weighing the pros and cons, he decided to accept it. It was better to stop after taking a little advantage. People who were too greedy didn't live long. The long-bearded cultivator was right. The Wang family's biggest weakness was that their foundation was too thin and they didn't have high-grade refining materials. With this mineral vein map, they only needed to spend a few years to develop the mineral vein to completely make up for this weakness. After thinking for a while, Wang Daoyuan nodded. Let's do as Daoyu said. With that, he released more than a dozen second-rank medium-grade soul-chasing bees. These soul-chasing bees flew over and carried the storage bag back. Wang Daoyuan didn't open the storage bag. Instead, he used his divine sense to penetrate the storage bag and check the things inside. There were indeed 500 high-grade spirit stones and a map inside. He took a quick look at the contents of the map. Based on his understanding of the outer regions of the heavenly/mountain range, he could confirm that this map was reliable. There were no tricks left on the storage bag. Wang Daoyuan hung the storage pouch on his waist and nodded. There's no problem with the map. I smashed Zhao Lingyan and Daoyu with the 5 elements devil suppression seal. His internal organs were injured and his natal dermic artifact was broken, but there was no permanent damage. As he finished speaking, he took out the meteor fire warding gourd and extracted the scarlet Luan nirvana flame from Zhao Lingyan's body. Then, he soared into the air and flew eastward for more than 50 miles. Only when he arrived at a small mountain did he retrieve the 5 elements devil suppression seal. The blue-robed cultivator flew over hurriedly to check on Zhao Lingyan's injuries while the long-bearded cultivator guarded against Wang Daoyuan from the side. After checking, the blue-robed cultivator said, "Brat Wang, you're really ruthless. Lingyan's organs are all injured. If you don't treat your injuries in time, I'm afraid you won't be able to keep your life." Then, he quickly took out a pill bottle and poured out a few pills for Zhao Lingyan to consume. Wang Daoyuan snorted coldly and replied, "You came to my territory to ambush me, and you're complaining that I'm ruthless. Since we've already talked and Zhao Lingyan's foundation is not injured, you should immediately leave my territory. If you two want to spar with me, I have no objections. I can extract your soul and refine it after killing you, and peek into the mystery of the Gui water divine lightning. The blue-robed cultivator still wanted to attack, but the long-bearded cultivator immediately stopped him and cupped his hands. Little friend, you must be joking. We'll leave now. Wang Daoyuan also let out a sigh of relief. He was not afraid of these two people, but he was afraid of forming a deadly feud with the Zhao clan. Although these three people were the long-legged prince's people, the ninth prince was also surnamed Zhao. Would the ninth prince be happy if he killed the Zhao clan's golden core cultivator? If he cooperated with the ninth prince in the future, he would have to consider whether or not he would settle accounts with him. The long-bearded cultivator used a jade talisman to send a message, and the cultivators around the Gold Goose City evacuated. The two people also took the seriously injured and unconscious Zhao Lingyan and headed north. After flying hundreds of miles, the blue-robed cultivator asked, "Old Nine, what do you mean? You didn't cooperate with me to take down the Wang brat and give him the spirit stones and the mind map. Even if you're afraid of Lei Yanzhenren and can't kill him, you can still force him to submit." The long-bearded cultivator helplessly replied, "We've investigated him a lot. How many methods does he have? Can you say clearly?" Ling Yan's strength is not weak, but he was taken down in a very short time. Wang Daoyuan's body is not injured at all, even his magic tools are intact. Moreover, the three of us used a concealment secret technique. He can accurately find Ling Yan's position in a short time. This is not something an ordinary person can do. You exchanged a move with him. What do you think of his strength? Are you sure you can win? The blue-robed cultivator thought for a moment and somewhat dejectedly replied, "His attack speed is very fast, and the sword technique he used has the flavor of the shadow sword technique. In an instant he summoned 10 sword shadows, and only used 3 to cancel out my Gui water divine thunder. Afterwards, he quickly recovered the sword shadows. If we continue to waste time, I also don't have the confidence to take him down." The long-bearded cultivator persuaded, his life source magic tool is the 5 elements devil suppression seal, formed by 5 magic tools. Only using the white tiger blade, you don't have the confidence to take him down. If all 5 magic tools are used, we may not be his match in a one-on-one fight. Even defeating him would be difficult, let alone capturing him alive. Attacking without knowing the opponent's details is gambling with our lives. Destroy the 3 great sects, recover the state of Zhao, and at that time, it won't be too late to settle accounts. There is no need to fight for a short time. The blue-robed cultivator was still somewhat indignant, but didn't say anything. After the 3 left, Wang Daoyuan landed on a small mountain. He took off the black magic robe and handed it forward. This time, it was scary but not dangerous. Thanks to Hall Master Darren's investigation of the enemy, Zhou Luan appeared, took the black magic robe and put it on. She said proudly, "Back then, when I was at the Blood Shadow headquarters, investigating the enemy was a basic skill. I didn't expect you to be so good at deceiving people. You so easily swindled 5 million spirit stones and a mind map. Your strength is not much stronger than that blue-robed cultivator, but you can suppress both of them." Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, "Needless to say, if I didn't have some ability, how could I deceive Hall Master Darren?" Zhou Luan asked, "It seems that you have done a lot of this. Which female cultivators did you deceive without me knowing?" Wang Daoyuan was somewhat helpless. "You can suspect that I'm a womanizer for everything. When I talk to female cultivators, you can know the content. How can I have the courage to deceive female cultivators? I still have to go to Jinyan City to deal with the aftermath. Do you want to go with me?" Zhou Luan said, "Of course. If I'm not there, won't I give you a chance to flirt?" Wang Daoyuan rode on the auspicious cloud, and Zhou Luan also walked on it. The two of them went to Jinyan City. Wang Daoyuan inquired about the casualties in Jinyan City, gave some compensation to the families of the dead and injured cultivators, and left some high-grade spirit stones for Shen Zhaoxing. Then he returned to Yuchuan Peak with Zhou Luan. Back in the underground cave, he sat down on the stone table in the front yard and took out the mind map. This map was about 10 feet square and was made of animal skin. The information on it was not inscribed with divine sense, but directly drawn on the animal skin paper. It had to be said that the Zhao clan's foundation was deep enough. Anything they took out would be of great use to a small force like the Wang clan. The scope of this map was not small. The northernmost was 10,000 miles north of Huiyan Mountain, and the southernmost was the Wanchuan River. There were a total of more than 20 veins recorded on the map, all of which were 3rd and 4th rank veins, and the scale was not small. The smallest vein was more than 200 miles long. If one of these was casually developed, the benefits would be immeasurable. The closest vein to the clan's territory was less than 300 miles south of Golden Tiger Mountain in Fallen Dragon Ridge. This was a 3rd rank high-grade silver light mysterious iron vein. The whole vein was more than 400 miles long, running from north to south. It was not impossible to dig out 4th rank low-grade silver light mysterious iron ore from this vein. Chapter 578. Silver light meteoric iron was a non-elemental metal and was very suitable for refining flying warships. Previously, when Wang Daoyuan improved his refining skills, he refined an upper-grade Tier 3 flying warship, and the core component was made of silver light meteoric iron. With silver light meteoric iron, the clan would have enough refining materials, and they would not need to ask others to refine flying warships. The location of this vein was not bad, and it was not far from Fallen Dragon Ridge's Golden Tiger Mountain. After the ore was mined, it could be transported to Golden Tiger Mountain and transported out through Fallen Dragon Ridge's transportation channel. There was no need to open another transportation channel, which saved a lot of costs. Moreover, this place was more than 3,000 kilometers away from the Sky/Mountain Range's main vein, and there were very few Tier 3 demon beasts, so there was no problem in terms of safety. The only problem was the defense of this place. There was a branch spirit vein of Fallen Dragon Ridge near this vein. This branch spirit vein was only upper-grade Tier 1 and could not be used to set up Tier 2 formations. If the spirit vein's grade was low, they could only use formation discs to set up formations and consume spirit stones to maintain the formations. This way, the cost was too high. Moreover, formation discs were not as reliable as permanent formation eyes. When faced with a strong attack, the formation discs would easily collapse. The clan would have to deploy more cultivators to guard this vein. Zhou Luan sat on a stone bench beside him, crossing her legs and eating a golden thread jade peach. Seeing his regretful expression, she asked, "Do you have to look so sad when looking at a map of an vein?" She stood up and walked to Wang Daoyuan's side, looking at the map carefully. "This silver light meteoric iron is really unbearable. It's in such a good location, but it's not easy to defend. Didn't you get 5 elements spiritual master's inheritance?" His method of guiding spirit veins is top-notch. You can just guide spirit veins from other places and raise the grade of the spirit vein. Wang Daoyuan was stunned and asked, "How do you know I have 5 elements spiritual master's inheritance?" Zhou Luan stuffed the peach in her hand into Wang Daoyuan's mouth and said with a smile, "The flame you used to open this cave abode was the dust-returning flame, right? Earth attribute spirit fire is not common, and the dust-returning flame can corrode everything. Unless it's the first time such a treasure appears, it can't hide from Blood Shadow's intelligence system. I checked the old files from tens of thousands of years ago and learned about the 5 elements spiritual master. The previous owner of the dust-returning flame was the 5 elements spiritual master. Since he had obtained the spiritual fire, how could he not have obtained the legacy of array formations? Alright, have you found the elemental mystery realm? In his later years, he wanted to establish his own sect. There was a rumor that he would set his mountain gate in the 5 elements mystery realm. After that, there was no more news. But don't worry, this file is stored in Qingli City. The branch would not report to the headquarters if there was no definite information. The files in Qingli City Square have also been destroyed by me. Right now, other than the 2 of us, no one else knows about the dust-returning flame." Wang Daoyuan took a bite of the golden silk jade peach and sucked in a breath of cold air. "Fortunately, I made the first move and deceived you. Otherwise, It would be too dangerous for you to know so many of my secrets. I've also found the elemental mystery realm. I obtained the inheritance there. However, your idea can indeed be implemented. There was a stage 2 spirit vein in the vicinity of the Orvane. He could use the spirit guiding array to draw it over. It's just that the spirit guiding array needs to forcefully change the direction of the spirit vein. The difficulty of setting it up is quite high, and it also takes a lot of time. Right now, the demonic beasts in the sky/mountain range are very active. Let's talk about it after things have calmed down. Zhou Luan asked with a smile, I've solved a problem for the clan. Is there any reward? Upon hearing the reward, Wang Daoyuan wrapped his arms around Zhou Luan's waist, wanting to pull her into his embrace. Whatever reward you want is fine. Zhou Luan slapped his hand. Stop thinking crookedly. I want the honey. You've raised so many soul-chasing bees. There should be a lot of honey, right? You actually dared to hide such a good thing from me. Are you planning to give it to some vixen? Wang Daoyuan was forced to hand over more than 50 kilograms of honey. Only then was Zhou Luan satisfied. At this time, Wanchuan City Square and Three River City Square were attacked by unknown cultivators. Many of the important industries of the three major sects were damaged to varying degrees. However, the three major sects were already prepared. The cultivators all withdrew from places that were not easy to defend. More people were sent to places that were easy to defend. The long-legged prince's attack caused a lot of noise and took down a lot of industries. However, the casualties of the three major sects were minimal. At present, only Zifu Realm and Foundation Establishment cultivators were attacking the industries. The Jindan cultivators did not make a move. It was estimated that they were besieging the important industries, luring the cultivators of the three major sects to rescue them, and then eating the reinforcements. At the same time, the news that he faced three late-stage Jindan cultivators of the Zhao clan at the same time in Jinyan City, seriously injuring one and scaring off the other two spread. Moreover, the industries of Yannan County were not attacked. In troubled times, peaceful places were the most attractive. The loose cultivators of Heiyang County flocked to Yannan County. At Qingli City Square, the number of loose cultivators who requested to join the administrator's mansion increased sharply. Most of these loose cultivators were unreliable. They joined the administrator's mansion only to take refuge temporarily. Once the war was over, they would still have to leave. Such people naturally could not be accepted casually. Of course, it was also inappropriate to not accept any of them. Wang Daoyuan asked his fifth granduncle to arrange for a few loose cultivators who were proficient in elixir, weapons, and talisman arrays to calm the loose cultivators. He also released the soul-chasing bees to patrol the entire Yannan County. If they encountered any loose cultivators who caused trouble, they would be killed directly. Zhou Luan's intelligence system was not idle either. There were many loose cultivators who poured into Yannan County. Maybe some of them were the long-legged prince's subordinates. The group of people who attacked Jinyan City before, after retreating to Shanbei, pretended to be dead in the Guiyuan sword sect and did not take any action. Whether it was the hinterland of Zhao country or Wuqing Pass, there was no war between Jindan cultivators. Both sides had not yet reached the decisive battle. Wang Daoyuan was also happy to be idle, doing some things that interested him in the underground cave. After half a month, he received a message from Shanbei. The messenger surprised him. It was Lord Roaring Tooth of the bloodthirsty Ash Wolf Pack. The content of the message was to ask him to go to the hill where they had a meeting last time and help save Daoyu. After the matter was done, he would be greatly rewarded. Wang Daoyuan was a little suspicious, so he let his doppelganger devouring soul go to check it out. When he found that there was no ambush there, he felt relieved. Just as he was about to leave, Zhou Luan asked, "Where are we going this time?" Wang Daoyuan naturally told her the truth. Zhou Luan immediately misunderstood. That place is not far from the Dark Fox tribe. Are you going to meet that fox spirit, Ming Xan? No, I want to go with you. If those demons want to deal with you, I'll be able to help. If you want to go, then go. With black magic robe, those demons won't find you. It's just that the demons have sharp noses. Don't get too close. Zhou Luan naturally agreed. Then the two of them hid their figures and left Yuchuan Peak. Wang Daoyuan came to the agreed place. Zhou Luan was hiding more than 100 miles to the south. There were two young men halfway up the hill where the meeting took place last time. One of them was Roaring Tooth King. The other one had a sturdy figure and was a size bigger than Roaring Tooth King. There were silver streaks on his dark hair and skin. His cultivation was at the 4th stage, but his aura was a little unstable. He looked like he was seriously injured. Wang Daoyuan was not unfamiliar with this appearance. Back then, when he participated in the duel between the two sects during the Foundation establishment stage, the half-demon black flame of the Savage Sun Palace looked like this. Wang Daoyuan cupped his hands and said, "This Daoyu seems to be a black flame tiger?" Roaring Tooth King continued, "Daoyu is right. This is Yan Hui of the Black Flame Tiger clan, Daoyu." Wang Daoyuan asked, "I wonder what injuries Daoyu suffered?" Yan Hui said in a deep voice, "I was slightly injured when I fought against the 4th stage refined corpse at the Ghost Cave. My Black Flame Tiger clan is good at controlling fire. Flames have a certain restraining effect on corpse chi, death chi, and other things. I didn't think much of it, but my injuries are getting worse and worse." Roaring Tooth King said that Daoyu has the life spirit fire that can dissolve corpse chi and death chi. I wanted to ask Daoyu for help. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.